just telling everyone that we have 14 boosters,
We do.
and we're gonna be giving those away for people who get the right answers, and it's gonna be whoever's the first person who has the right answer.
Yeah,
And
sounds good.
Chow, don't win it all, okay? Chow, you can
Oh,
win.
if
You can.
Chow's in the chat, that's good. He's getting all the packs.
He's gonna.
He's gonna
Chow,
nab all those
he's
packs.
gonna take.
He's a sneaky
You
expert, this
can have one, okay?
guy.
If you beat the others on one, we're gonna let you have it. Okay. But what we're gonna do is we are going to have a wheel for all the participants at the end ish. We might not get through the whole game. It depends how long it takes for us.
Yeah, I
Shall's
mean, like,
going home.
like the way I'm kind of thinking about it is, look, I'm not gonna try and teach everyone how to use Tabletopia
No.
because this is gonna become a thing of the past at some point, and in the devs we trust that they're gonna get Warsaken Standard out on the app. But in the interim, this is what we have to use. But instead of bogging everyone down with, oh, if you got to right click here, move, instead of doing all that, let's just kind of focus on the game itself and attract people in to see if it's worth them learning how to use Tabletopia. Because I feel like a lot of the times we get caught up in the how do I get Tabletopia to work, that we kind of lose track of
Yeah.
what we're actually trying to accomplish.
Yeah, because
So
it's
yeah,
retarded. I mean, sorry to say that, but
no,
it's annoying.
it's challenged, to say the least.
Mm.
It's our beautiful disaster that we call Tabletopia, and it allows us to play standard, and so we thank
Yeah.
it, and we hope it doesn't go away anytime soon until the app comes out. Um, so yeah,
Right.
there you have it. So it's
Because
one
the
of the
other
things we just deal with.
option is you do
Yep,
what Chow did, is you make your own cards, and so that you can play them until we
that's
get the
true.
physical game.
That's true. And I think I saw one where it was like he was like putting it like where he was playing cards and someone was playing on Tabletopia. That was like crazy.
Yeah, that was
Awesome.
epic.
I was like, wow, this guy is a genius. I can't compete with this. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. And then you know what? There's gonna come a point when we actually have our physical cards too, for those who were able to
I
get
know.
involved in the Kickstarter. So that's something too. Then we get to harass our friends to try and get them to play. So
I know. I was already telling my family,
yeah.
it's like when we get this game, we're gonna play it, whether you like it or not. So you better figure it out. And I'm gonna beat you all because I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
And then you get, and then like all the things that you like, you know, like even if you're just playing Blitz, if there's things that you're like, I wonder if this was just like done a little bit differently. Once you have the cards at home, you can do whatever you want. You can create your own versions of this game. That's kind of, and I think that was kind of behind a little bit of their design, is they wanted to come out with additional ways to play the game.
Mhm.
And so like there probably will be more in the future. Like there's Blitz and Standard, there's gonna be Cabal later, where it's kind of like playing against the computer sort of, but then there's gonna be other versions, I'm sure, just like how Magic has had in the past. So um
Yeah,
and then maybe one that you've created catches on and it becomes a thing. So
that's a cool
be
thought. I didn't even
creative,
thought of
have
that.
fun. Yeah, test out your theories.
It's
It might
awesome.
catch on, you never know.
Very cool. So the way we're gonna do this is, so Sevi is gonna explain some of the start of the game, and then how to get started.
Yeah.
It's basic 101, and then when we start playing, the chat is going to tell me what to play. So I'm just gonna be your hands in this. I'll probably, maybe, I might be involved. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
I mean, let's see how
somewhat.
vocal everyone is.
Yeah, if you guys are not talking in the chat, I might have to. I'm hoping you guys will play, because if you participate in playing, you get on the wheel to win the elite pack. But you have to play with us to get that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to get on
Exactly.
the wheel, you have to play.
You got to be in it to win it.
In
All
it
right.
to win
So
it.
So let's kind of. Do you think we're ready to dive in, or you want to give it a few minutes?
Well, one more thing I wanted to say also is that when we do play, we're gonna just have someone raise their hand by putting in an
Mm,
emote, a specific emote to say, I would like to take this turn. And
cool.
also, I don't know if you can see the Twitch.
I have the Twitch chat open, so I'm gonna keep my eye, like my
Cool.
peripheral on that if there's questions that
Yeah,
come up.
and if you have a question specifically for Sevi, just hit at Sevi so you can get his
Yeah.
attention. I'll keep it on as well. And then you should see in the top right corner, I do have the card, the gameplay card that Relay made, so you can see what you do on your turn. There's
Yeah.
6 parts to the turn. Can you see that, or should I blow it up more? I'm just wondering, like,
Let me see.
as far as
I think it looks fine for me. I mean, I also have it open on my screen just because it's a nice
yeah,
reminder. It's very easy to get when especially when you're in the heat of battle and you're like thinking about what you're gonna do next and you completely forgot about something. It's very easy to happen when we're doing it
yes.
manually. So it's always good to kind of keep yourself checked with that. Um, but yeah, so shameless plug also. So this gameplay card can be found on myarsenal.com. That's my
It's not
dash arsenal.
shameless. It's
It's
it's full. You're full of shame. No, I'm just kidding. I put a link in the chat to your website. It's
oh,
right
perfect,
there, and it's
awesome.
also on that card that we have up there. It's harder to see, maybe,
Yeah,
but
so we have another version of like we're kind of trying to come up with like a logo and stuff. There's another one where like
cool.
the My Arsenal is like very prominent. So
Awesome.
once we get that one up on the site, we'll be able to share that.
Okay.
You'll probably see that logo if you go on the site. You'll see like it has like a big red and yellow like right in your face kind of text. That's pretty cool. Um, Gabox, do I speak Spanish to teach standard? No, but you know what? We have Google Translate. Let's make it happen. I have no problem doing
Yeah.
that. I have
Oh,
some understanding of Spanish. I've grown up in New York my whole life. I have Puerto Rican, Dominican friends, and they speak Spanish all the time around me. So I could I can get by, and and also Google Translate.
yeah.
That's what you do.
Well, actually, even in well, I have a translator in the chat, but it translates. I don't
Mm.
think it translates English to Spanish. I think it's
Oh, I
other
see. I see. I
languages
see.
to
I see.
English. But yeah, we could, Gabux, he says I talk too fast and he can't understand a word I'm saying, but so I guess we'll have to speak very clearly. But
Okay, okay. And then Gabox, if you have a question, I'll try. Maybe I can throw my answer in Google Translate. It kind of gets jumbled up when you do that, but I'll try and do that to maybe help out so you can kind of follow along. Um, and then that brings up a good point. We should be probably translating some of these rules into, should we? We definitely must. We have players all over the world.
mhm.
We should be at least having the general rules in other languages to be available. So, you know, maybe we can influence, Brandon and others to allow some of us to maybe volunteer to help translate that and get that so that others can understand it that might not read English. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and Bulldog had a question about the resources cards. So we're gonna get to what the resources cards do,
Yeah,
and he'll bring that up.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna let him take over explaining things, and I'll try to click on things. Tell me what to click on. Um,
Yeah, sure. So, all right, let's start at the basics. I'm gonna kind of assume that you've never seen a game of Standard before. Now, this layout that you see in front of Cat, where it's the leader, and then to the right of the leader is the 4 territories. Now, that you're used to because you've played Blitz, so you've already seen this already seen this. Thank you, Corporal Spinelans. I appreciate that. Um, you've already kind of seen this
cool.
layout, and the layout is the same for standard, which is kind of reassuring. Including on the left, on the right side there, you have your arsenal, which is your deck of 60 cards. The things that are a little bit different than maybe what you're used to is right below the cards are
You know what?
dial.
One
Yeah,
sec,
sure.
Sev. You're
Yeah.
pointing to your side. Let me
Oh
switch.
yeah, sorry.
Do
I
you?
could flip it. I could flip it.
Okay.
There you go. I'll be on your side for now. Okay, so below those territories are, if you were to double click on the biofuel research farms, so you may use this maybe with a 6 morale, maybe not. You use this in Blitz, maybe not. So if you
Should
do
I
happen to
click on
use
this?
this, um,
There we go.
yeah, so if you do use this, you probably just use it because, you have the card, or maybe you like the art. But for standard, there actually is some meaning behind why you would use this particular card. So, if in this circumstance, you're going to see that there are two like resource images in the middle of the card there, right below the description, where it's an apple, which is food, and then there's like that fuel tank, which is just fuel. So every turn, if you look at that gameplay card, one of the steps in the gameplay is to produce resources. So all of your territories are going to produce the resources that they have listed there. For biofuel, you actually get to choose which one you like, depending on the scenario. Like if you have certain cards in your hand that would benefit from using food or fuel in order to pay for them to play, then you're going to produce whatever it is that you need at that moment. So it makes it pretty versatile as opposed to another card where it only produces one type of resource, or it only produces like a certain resource and like generic or something. So being able to produce two unique specific resources versus generic is pretty valuable. So Ziana likes this
Oh, I see.
territory because she has the ability to she has cards in her arsenal that might need fuel, that might need food, so she just wants to have that resource available depending on what she gets in her hand. um, so the health on this card is 360, so the dial right below the card just reads 360. That's just for us to keep track. Oh, did you need me to wait a second, or?
Well, there's a question about these
Oh, sure, go ahead.
numbers. They
Go
were
ahead.
asking about the points underneath the cards. Hang on.
Yeah, exactly. So that dial underneath the card is just a representation of the card's health. That's there so that in the event, like if I, because this is Cat's side of the board, if I were to attack this territory and I'm not blocked or anything like that, and I do damage to it, you want to be able to reduce the health of the card, but you can't do it on just a physical card. You need this little counter just to help you keep track of what the current health is. So it's just a way to keep track as the battles are going on, where the health is basically. That's just a little Tabletopia thing to help you. But if you did the Kickstarter, there's these cool little counters that Brandon designed that would kind of act in the same way as these dials do. So all the dials underneath the cards are the representation of the health of that card. So all these down here, this is your health. You can kind of see it right in your face. And so as you're getting hit, and they're saying, okay, I'm doing 100 damage to pawns, you're reducing your health by 100 just to keep track of what's going on, basically. So if you see, whoops, 280. If you see, you know, Cat during the game reducing those dials, it's because it was a result of me attacking you, attacking your territories. Um, so if you want to click on, so that's basically what you need to know for the territories. These, if you were to get into Tabletopia and play a game with someone, um, all these decks are pre-made. So each leader has their arsenal and territories already selected. You don't have to do any decision making. When the game is open in the game client, you're gonna be able to make your own deck and build your own strategy. Um, but for now, these are just pre-made, so you could just walk up to the table and start playing. Um, and the resources are over here to the side. So every time you produce, you just say, "Oh, I got my food, I got my fuel, I got two power, whatever," and that's how you're kind of representing your territories doing what they're meant to do, which is produce, so that you can get forces out there to kill my leader. That's the goal. Um, if you want to double click on Ziana really quick, I'll just go through briefly like your leader. So again, leaders. Right now, if you're playing Blitz, you're only selecting your leader because you like the art or the morale. Or that's just who you were pledged to based on like the most XP you can get or something. Like there's not really a true meaningful reason outside of those like kind of basic functionality. But in standard, there's additional things that Ziana could do that she could not do in Blitz. So for Ziana, she has two leader abilities. Now, these have, if you'll notice, like to the left of the abilities, they have like a little number and a little symbol, which is like an arrow kind of doing a loop. So those are like the timers of those abilities. So as the game goes on, every time it's your turn, those, except if you go first, those timers are going to reduce. And so it gets closer and closer to when you can use your ability. And then once your ability is ready, you can decide, okay, this turn I'm going to use this ability to do some type of damage to my opponent in one way, shape, or form. So for Ziana, what that's represented as, because she's like President Ziana, she's the politician, she's digging up some evidence against the enemy leader. That's going to help Ziana gain some intel, which is very important in standard play. And then also it's going to make my leader lose morale because my arsenal and my nation or army or whomever is hearing this evidence come out about against my leader. They're not feeling so good about me anymore, a little bit, just a little bit. So that's kind of like the representation of what these like functions and these abilities are. They're kind of themed based on the character itself. So Ziana's 5-timer ability is called Engineered Scandal. This is a super strong ability, and basically it forces the enemy leader, whichever one you choose, because you can actually play against more than one player inside of Standard. You can play against up to 4. Um, and I don't actually know if there's a limit. I think the rules might say 4, but well, I'll have to check back on that. But let's just go with 4 for now. Uh, you know, so being able to choose an enemy and saying, okay, you get this, but in this case, it's saying each enemy. So Ziana can actually do this to all the opponents. So you know what? All of you are losing 9 morale because I just created a crazy scandal against all these other leaders, and now it's kind of thrown their whole their whole army and their whole nation kind of against their leader. And once the morale reaches 0, your leader is no longer protected. It's compromised. And once your leader is compromised, they're able to be attacked. And that's where Ziana's strengths are. Ziana is not really hyper focused on attacking your territories. Ziana is more looking at your morale and trying to reduce your morale so that you become exposed so that you can get killed. So that's kind of Ziana's strategy. So these little dice on the side here, they're just meant to track that. So like as the turns go on, you might see these go down each turn, and that's just like representing the abilities getting closer and closer to being used. Last thing before we kind of get into it is over here to the left is the morale and the intel. So your morale is equally as important as your health, as your leader health. If your morale reaches 0, you're going to become compromised. Doesn't matter how many territories were destroyed. And that's the same thing for Blitz. So that rule kind of applies the same. And sorry, what was that, TK Brown? On the 10th turn, do you get to use both moves? Okay, so the way it works is on, like, let's say Ziana went first. So if you're the first player, you don't reduce any of your timers, so that would just be like a wash. Then on turn 2 for Ziana, this die would go to 1, this die would go to 4. It just continues the countdown, right? The next turn, turn 3, this ability, the first ability is now ready. This one goes to 3. And then you can decide to use it or you can hold it. But if you hold it, the timer stops. You can't continue to get the benefit of the ability until you've used it, so that you can continue to count down again and use it again. So let's say Ziana decides to use it, it goes back to 2. So you start the countdown again. Next turn, they all reduce by 1. So you're using your leader abilities multiple times, and there
Hang on.
may be
Chat.
turns where you can use them both at the
Oh
same
my
time.
gosh.
Yeah.
I zoomed
Um,
out. Hang on. I was trying to
oh, it's
zoom in.
okay.
It's
It's okay.
so hard to control it
Yeah. So
from the
if you
mouse.
timed it, like if you held this one turn in the scenario, you can align them so that both moves go off at the same time, and you can use them both at
There
the
we
same
go.
time. Okay, no problem, TK. So yes, and then these will continue to reset. So if this game goes 10 rounds, 20 rounds, every time the die hits, it's supposed to be 0, your ability can be used. There's no limit to that, basically. And that's really what you need to know about that. Everything else, in terms of the game itself, I mean, a lot of the effort of like creating a deck has been taken away because these are pre-made decks. So really, what you would want to do is if you want to play, you can come into the game like a little bit earlier, or like if you're playing with someone, just say, hey, look, I'm just going to take a look at the deck just to see what cards are here, so I know like what to expect and how I should play this particular game.
We did a
Um,
quick look. We
oh,
did
you
just
did?
this
Okay,
little
cool.
sneak,
Yeah,
like sneak
cool.
peek at the deck.
So, what one thing is really important is yeah, a lot of cards allow you to go into your deck and look for specific cards, like look for an intel card or look for a particular force or something. Just make sure you're shuffling afterwards, because that's part of the mechanics of whatever of whatever card is allowing you to search. It's saying, hey, shuffle afterwards, shuffle.
And shuffle
Yeah,
before you start.
and shuffle before you start. So normally what you do is, if you sit down at Tabletopia, I would just do a little quick once over on everything that's in front of you.
Okay.
Just make sure the health matches up and the morale on your leader is all correct. Because sometimes there's some leader pairs in Tabletopia where it's like a little off for whatever the reason, like when they set it up. So just make sure
Yeah.
everything adds up properly. And the good thing about standard, as opposed to blitz, is your morale could be, higher than whatever it is, 20 or 21. It could be as high as you want it to be, that the territories and the leader allow you. So there is no limit, starting limit to morale, like how blitz has. So you don't really have to think about that. You could just play with the territories that are the best for your strategy. Um, so that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly look over my cards, make sure everything looks right. My morale is correct. Make sure the health is correct, so we don't make a boo-boo here. That all looks good. And then before we like deal cards or anything, I'm just gonna take a couple of die, and we're gonna roll to see who goes first. And so basically, the highest roller decides if who goes first. That's the way we usually do it. So I got 6. What did you get? You got 1.
I haven't rolled yet. I
Oh,
just put
okay.
it there.
All right. So see if you get higher. If you get a 6, we roll again. Okay. So you got 1. So let me see. What do I want to do? I think I want to. I think I want to go second.
Okay.
So you can go first.
All right. Guess
And then
I'll
so
keep a couple of
yeah,
these.
yeah, exactly. You can take a couple, and then so what you're gonna do is once you kind of figure out like who's going first, you just make sure you shuffle the deck, and then you're just going to draw 8 cards into your hand. That's your starting hand. And you're just going to decide, okay, do I want this starting hand, or do I want to do a mulligan and put that back and get something else?
It's
So,
8 cards, right?
yeah,
Draw
correct.
8.
All right, so this first one I'm doing a mulligan. That was terrible. Um,
All right, chat. I want you to look at these cards we have and tell me if we should mulligan or stick with them. We have 1 vote for mulligan.
okay.
I'm glad you said 1 vote for stand until building. Well, and I mean, since he's teaching us, he's gonna know what we have, so it's not gonna be exactly like
Yeah, I mean,
the
this is
battle.
not really. This is not. I mean, yeah, like we're just playing to show you the game. Like, I'm not gonna go ultra hard or anything like that. It's more of just to have some fun, see how the gameplay kind of works out. Does pair mean anything, Rexy? Not. You don't need a pair of cards to play a card. You just need a single card. As long as you have the resources to play it, you can play it. And downtown, you said, do you have any cards that play right away? So there are
We
some
do.
cards like Black Blade or whatever that can
We have a
actually
lot,
go right
actually.
out.
Seems
Hmm.
like. This one is right away, this one's right away. But we don't want to use the weather to start. Um, yeah. So we have a few. No, so say it stands, so we keep it. Yeah, okay. We'll
All
keep
right.
it then. I don't know why this one's sticking out.
Is it just like
Okay.
3 blackmails, Joe? Opening
Yeah,
hand,
we
3 blackmail.
have one blackmail. I mean, one brainwash. Divisionary attack. Can you see my cards? Are you looking at the
I'm not. No, I'm not looking at.
targeted sabotage? Two targeted sabotage, and a building, and a morale. Cool. All right, we're gonna keep it. Triple blackmail.
Save your resources if you're Lethabo. Just throwing it out there. If you're ever playing this pair, just keep that
Save them.
in mind. Don't overspend if you don't have to.
That's good
You
for
know.
me to know, because I'm a spender.
Well, Ziana is the opposite. Ziana, you want to
Yeah.
like really get in. You want to get more cards out of your deck, and you want to try and race to get to get my morale to 0 before you lose one of your territories.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So, to start this game, what we're going to do is we're going to have whoever's going to make the first move first. I'm just going to have you raise your hand, and I'm going to choose an emoticon for you, to raise your hand, and then whoever does it first will be the player. And then we'll just take turns, though, so not everybody's going to, so everyone can have a chance, all right? So if you've already played a turn, we'll just kind of switch around. But for this first one, whoever wants to play first, just throw down that cat paw with the heart cat paw. And when you're ready to go, we'll go through that way. Oh, we should talk about the different turns, probably. I mean, the parts of the turn.
Yeah, sure.
Rexy.
So let's see. Oh, Rexy got first. Okay, cool. So, since you're the first player, um, the turn order is going to be a little bit different than what the card says. So you're not going to return any forces because you don't have any forces out on the battlefield right now. So you could skip turn 1, like number 1 on the turn card. Number 2 is draw. Since you're going first, you're not drawing a card. And then item 3 is reducing your turn timers, which are those little dice that you have around.
Oh, yeah.
You're also not doing that. So those first 3 items, if you're turn 1, you're skipping those. Because you have the advantage of acting first. So there has to be a little bit of a penalty, so that's how they did it. So the very first thing you're doing is you're producing.
Okay. Hang on one second. I lost my connection for some reason. Hi, Asteroid. Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
What's up?
So we need to set the little. Did we do that already? Ooh, why
What
are
was up?
these backwards? 3 of my cards got flipped.
Yeah, that it feels like it's a recent bug with Tabletopia with like the cards, where like if you try and select all to like flip them or move them,
Yeah.
or like they bug out and they keep just flipping, or like they don't flip right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Sorry, what was
We
that
need to.
downtown? What were you wrong about? Sorry, buddy. the overtime production will have you start gaining more resources. No, that's true. I mean, if you're playing overtime production, I think there's a cost to morale, but then it allows you to produce more resources on your territories. Was that what you're talking about?
The delay on the chat's gonna be fun.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't realize that. Okay. Uh, no,
He
no, you're
said
you're
yes.
definitely right. So, you know, in the we had a tournament like earlier this year, and I was playing key, and I used overtime production because I wanted to generate enough resources because I wanted to play like a nuke like really early. So I was like, okay, I don't have enough resources to do that, but I have this card that if I play this card, it's going to give me more resources than I started with, and that will give me the ability to play a card that's like pretty pricey, so I can get it out like earlier. So absolutely, overtime production is a great card.
Hang on, I'm just explaining
Yeah,
something to Gabox.
and then yeah, the morale cost, absolutely. So you're losing morale by playing that card. That's kind of like it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, sure, you're forcing your factories to produce more, resources, but it's at the detriment of the workers. So they don't like you so much anymore, and so you lost a little bit of morale there. And so, but Ziana's got a lot of morale, so it probably won't harm her too much. But yeah. Uh, so that's kind of like the play where you're kind of deciding, is it worth playing it right now? Um, Early in the game, it always seems to make sense because that's when you have like the most morale in most cases. So it makes sense. But again, it goes by like, what are you going to do with those resources? Do you have something? Is it worth playing it at that moment, or should you hold on to it? So it really just depends on the hand you're drawing and what your strategy is. Bulldog, how do you play the resource cards to add to your territories, and where do you place them when you're building your deck? So the territories like don't go like in the deck, right? That's just something that's going to be like alongside your game map. So like just like how it's here, where you see like to the side, you see them all stacked up. So it's almost like Monopoly. Like I don't know if you ever played, where you got all the money from the bank on the side there. Very similar layout. So, and then as you're producing territories on your turn, so like let's say Ziana is going to produce, and Ziana wants a fuel, or whatever, like a fuel here, and then let's say Ziana wants food here, and then 2 power, and then 2 um, uh, equipment.
It tells you on the card right
Yep.
here.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 resources on this card. The
Yep.
equipment. So that's what you put 2 there. This one says 2 power. This one says 1 fuel. And this one you gotta choose. So you want to think
Oh.
about the 2. And then you
So
should
one
talk
thing,
about.
sorry, one thing.
That's okay.
So your leader has a 20 morale, right? But you have a territory that gives you +2 extra morale.
Oh, which one is that? This one?
That's that one right there.
Oh,
So you'll
because it
see
did
it like,
say 22 at the start.
oh, it did? Oh, maybe we were
Yeah,
messing around
I
a
no,
little.
I did it. I thought
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
didn't know there was a territory that changed that. So
Yeah, so
cool. That's
same thing
awesome.
with Blitz. If your territories can increase your morale in Blitz, it could do the same thing in Standard. So the deck is 65 cards. So it's your leader, and then the 4 territories, and then 60 arsenal cards. The arsenal cards, they're just, it's really whatever you make up. You can't have more than one G-Force card in the deck, but otherwise you just base it on your strategy. Like, are you building an intel type of approach, or is it like, are you going force heavy? Do you want it to be mostly navy or air? Like, you're kind of composing what you want based off of like your leader's ability and like the territories. Like, you're trying to create some synergy between your leader, the territories, and the cards you put in your deck, so that you're kind of always working towards an end goal, which is, I want to compromise the enemy leader as fast as possible by turn 5 if I could do it. That's like the mindset you should be thinking about when you're building a deck. Like, I want to try and with different strategies, how do I compromise the enemy leader as quickly as possible? um And that, like, if you keep that in the back of your mind, it's going to help you to build the deck. Where you're like, all right, is this really helping me? Do I just like this card, which is also cool. It's to each their own. But remember, the goal is I want to either destroy all of Xana's territories to compromise them. I want to bring Xana's morale to zero, or I want to bring the deck that morale is using, the arsenal, to zero. If any of those three things happen, Xana is now compromised, and I can now attack Xana. And Xana's only got 110 health, so that's not a good thing for Xana. They want that protection. So that's it's really just that simple, and it's the same thing as Blitz. Those are the things you're doing. You're either trying to mill your opponent to zero cards in their deck, you're trying to hit them with the morale to zero, or they're trying to blow up all their territories. Same exact mechanics. Just the way you get there is a little different. That's all.
Oh, so this is the turn of, I can't see. There we go.
You're on the
So
produce, which I
yeah,
think,
so we're on the
yeah,
produce part of the turn. That's why we put those cards down. And
yep.
now, um,
You're on the play
is the
phase.
play phase. So that's the next part. Rexy.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
Rexy.
Rexy,
Let's
Rexy,
look
you're
at
up.
our let's look at our cards. Oh,
And then
Rex.
Bulldog, to your question there about the cost of playing a card in this play phase. If you're looking at you're looking at Cat's screen there. Each card at the top left has like the resources kind of like listed out of like you'll see like whatever it is, if it's like a
We're
food
looking
and a
at
generic. Which one are
Yeah,
you
we're
looking at now?
looking at the hyper defense barrier.
Okay,
It
cool.
has equipment, which I always have to remember what it's called. No, this is not
Hmm.
equipment. That we have equipment. This is the
Yeah.
generic. So the generic one is something that
Hmm.
you can talk about. And then battery. So it takes
Oh,
two,
power. Hmm.
I mean, power.
It's okay.
It is a battery. So we have the
Yes.
equipment on this one to play it, power, and then two generic.
Right. So, whatever resources are listed on the card is what you need to be able to produce that unit in the battlefield. So, and then there's also to the left of that, like a number. And it might say 1, 2, 3, 0. And that's how long it takes for that unit to get ready, that like for it to be produced. So, like, let's say you had like your factories are creating all these resources, and you're like, now I want to build this defense barrier, and this defense barrier takes one turn, and it costs this many resources to create it. But as soon as that turn is up, which would be the following turn from now that card flips over, and now you can use it. You can put that wherever on whatever territory or building you want, to kind of fortify yourself and protect against whatever Lothabo is going to throw out there. So that's kind of how that works. The cards have a turn time, or just like how long it takes to get ready, and then also a resource cost for the creation of the unit. That's basically it.
Yeah, so when you're about to play, you're looking at what these cards do. So you gotta look at them and you gotta read what they say. So
Yep, all that text that was ignored during Blitz actually has meaning. Um,
we gotta read the cards now and think about it.
but you might appreciate your cards a lot more now, because you're going to see that some of the abilities some of these cards could do are really cool.
Yeah.
And they're really fun, and you might learn to love the cards you've already liked a lot more, or you might learn to love some new cards that maybe you didn't really think twice about before.
Yep. So Rexy, can you see this okay? Like, so we have. I can read them. Attach this to a specific building or territory with no other attachments. Enemies can't specify it. Virtually impenetrable. This is a building.
Rexy, the answer is yes. You can compromise a leader with intel. Yeah. The way you do it, the way it works in Blitz is you're using intel cards to mill your opponent. Um, there are mechanics within intel cards. Well, I guess specifically it's like a leader, which is Volkov, which you basically like mill your opponent. But then there's other intel cards and even some WMDs which can allow you to force your opponent to discard cards. And then there's cards like Roman's prototype, which every time it attacks, it forces your opponent to discard a card. So there are ways to like reduce the deck size of your opponent. There's also like WMD, like Abandoned Forces, which forces your opponent to discard 7 cards from the top of their deck. So you can mill. It's just it works a little bit differently, but the idea is the same, which is reduce the deck to 0. Just not like all Intel cards don't necessarily do that with standard. They have other functions too.
Bulldog had a question. What is the
Uh,
health loss number for yourself and
for
for the
your enemies,
enemies?
yeah. So that's right below the leader card. So and it's also on the card itself. So Lethabo's health, if you were to look at that card, is 150. And then on the Ziana card, it's on the right side, it's like the box that's in yellow. Whenever you see the yellow on any of these cards, like forces or buildings or leaders, the yellow box is the health, and the black box is the attack value. So these leaders might not necessarily have an attack value, but they have abilities that might do damage. But they all have health. So that's kind of how that works. But the good thing about, even though they're both of these leaders, their health is not really very high, you can't attack them or target them until you've done one of the 3 things, which is reduce the deck to 0, eliminate the territories, or get my morale to 0. Otherwise, they're protected and you can't even target them.
Hey, G Daddy. Yeah, we're playing against SEVI. We have the chat playing against SEVI, so we're
What's
just
up?
at the point where we're looking at the cards to decide what to play right now, as SEVI explains everything. So welcome. And we're gonna have boosters for people that answer questions that we'll have, and also a chance to win the elite pack at the end
Yeah,
for participants.
it's going to be fun. So the generic resource, so the way you think about it, which was explained to me, which I thought it was pretty good, is generic. You kind of think of like it's money almost. You can use money to buy anything that you need, but it costs more than if you trade something that's of value. So, for example, power. What's up, G Daddy? Power, food, fuel, and equipment, right? You can exchange any of these. You can sell any of these at any point for money. And you would get 1 generic for each one that you exchange. So I could say, I'm turning in this power and I'm taking a generic because I need it for whatever the reason. However, if you want to go out in the market and you want to buy food, power, fuel, equipment, costs more. You don't get as much of a deal when you're buying as when you're selling. So you're gonna need twice as many generic to buy 1 of these specific resources. So that's kind of the exchange. It's 2 for 1 when it's going generic to food. And then when it's going from a specific resource to a generic one, it's 1 to 1. So I swap this one for that one, like that. That's kind of how that works. And then so if you see a card that has like a bunch of, and you don't necessarily have to do that, it's like to do that exchange every time. If you don't want to, you could literally just be like, I'm acting as if this is generic. I'm acting if this is generic. Like you don't need to swap them, but you can if it makes it easier for you to like keep
Think
track of
about
it all.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in the thick of the moment, it's
Yeah.
hard to make sense of things because you're all jacked up on adrenaline.
Yep.
And you can't-
And Mountain
and you're
Dew.
like, oh
And
gosh,
Mountain
I
Dew.
gotta do something. Yeah, Mountain Dew. Funny.
G Daddy said, so when you're building your standard deck, how many resource cards can you hold? So there's no limit. You're just putting those. They're not really going to be part of the 65 cards. They're just off to the side. I think that you're gonna see like if you did get like the Kickstarter or whatever, they're just gonna give you like a bunch of stacks of these just to play with. Um, but in terms of like the NFT versions that we have, those are gonna have other value later, like I guess wheel spins or whatever. I don't know what they're doing with it. But whatever they decided that they were gonna use those resource cards for, um, you know, you could definitely do that. I felt like when they first designed the packs, like it almost felt like I used to play Pokemon a lot when I was growing up, and it was like, oh yeah, you got like a bunch of Pokemon, you got some energies. So when I was opening packs, it felt the same. But this one's a little bit different because you're kind of just working with a bank of resources. So I think that they're just gonna find fun ways to use those cards to make it rewarding.
Max!
Yeah.
Hi,
What
Max.
up, Max? What's going on? What's going on? What up, y'all?
What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all.
And Rexy says, one any resource by one generic, but two generic. Exactly. You got it. You got it, Rexy.
Yeah, so it's going to be revealed later
Oh, with
what
the
those are gonna
resources, right?
yeah, what the
Yeah,
resources are gonna be for.
exactly. There's no. I don't know if it was definitive or not. I don't remember. But if they hadn't already, they will announce what they're gonna do with
They
them.
have not announced it.
Okay. So there you go.
But I would say just hang on to them because
Yeah.
they're gonna have a use. They're gonna find something.
Yeah. Remember, they're in every pack, even the premium packs.
Hey,
So
Zelos, welcome.
it's definitely going to be some worth there. So just hold on to them. That's my opinion. Do with them what you will.
Yep. I know, and
Zillow.
sometimes people get them, they're like, wah, wah. But I actually think I would not give those up easily. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I've
I
even
want to
bought
see
some
it.
on the market just for fun, just to like
Yeah. Hoard
just to pad
them.
the yeah, exactly. Like if they're
Huddle,
really cheap,
huddle,
yeah, exactly. I might just pick up
huddle.
a couple just for the heck of it. So,
Yeah.
all
Okay.
right. So
So
Rexy,
let's
what are you
look at
thinking?
our.
Oh, wait, sorry. You're looking at the deck, at the
Well,
hand,
we
right?
were looking at the
Okay.
cards, so
I mean, yeah. Take a
can
look
you
at the
read?
cards, see what feels right, and then remember, look at your resources. Think about, think a little bit ahead, not just this turn. What's going to make the most sense for Ziana in this moment? You get to act first. You get the first strike, and you have the resources that you have. So, what makes the most sense right now for you?
Yeah. So we have um. Okay. Attach this to a specific. This is hyper defense barrier. It's defense building. Let's see, and then let's look at our zero cost ones too, especially. Oh, I'm just messing up my cards. Brainwash. Attach this to take control of a specific non-drone force. But we don't. We're gonna hold on to this a little bit later. We can't really use this yet, so don't worry about that.
Oh yeah, that's a
Weather. We're
that's
not.
a really good card though.
It is a fun card. What does the
Yep,
red
it is
text
OP.
mean?
It is.
Lead or be less than 6 away in intel. So if you have more, well, I'll let you explain it. You explain it
Sure.
better
Do
than
you
me.
want to just drop the card real quick, just because
So you can see it.
yeah, just so I
Oh,
can.
sure. There you go.
Thanks. Okay, so sorry, I'm not looking at your video.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
so at the bottom of you'll notice this on intel cards and morale cards. There'll be like this red text at the bottom, and you're like, okay, I guess this is important. So it's lead or be less than 6 in intel to play. So this is why intel is important. So intel, although it might not all be mill or bouncing in standard, it adds a completely different aspect to the game, which is intel gain. So Ziana, whenever she uses her two-timer ability, which is condemning evidence, she gains intel. So what that means is you can use that to your advantage because if you get ahead enough in the intel, they call it the intel war. But if you get ahead enough, um, I actually can't play intel cards like this one because it says lead or be less than 6 away. Well, if you're 7 intelligence away from me, um, or even 6, I guess, because it's less than 6. So if you're 6 or more away, I can't play intel cards. So I no longer can use cards like Brainwash or other cards like, do I have an intel? Wait, let me see. I don't. But if I did, I would show you like, other cards that might help me get like cards from the deck or whatever, like whatever the ability might be. I can't even play them. So you completely lock me out from playing certain cards, which is like super powerful. And to Chow's point, uh, exactly, because Commander Wilfred, which is kind of like my avatar right now, they what he likes is using intel cards. The more intel cards he uses, the stronger he gets, and the stronger his abilities are. But if you lock him out of the intel war, well, you've completely crippled him basically, and it makes him pretty weak. And so that's why intel is very important. Um, some of these decks are not really designed, like some of the pre-made decks are not designed necessarily to all be like intel decks or something like that. But the intel war is like that's not something you take lightly. So like if Sienna is getting ahead of me in intel, that's kind of raising a little bit of a flag for me that I got to watch that and try and keep up. Because if I don't, I'm going to hurt myself later when I need to use an intel card and then I can't. So everything's got a purpose. And those are just some rules like for the intel cards, and the same thing for morale has like you can't play certain morale cards if you don't have a certain morale level. Yeah, Chow, exactly.
Oh,
The
I do
mechanic
have
is,
a morale card to
yeah.
show.
I think, do I? No, I don't. Sorry,
I
I don't
do.
have anything in my hand right now. But oh, actually, I
Here's a
did have an
morale
intel
card.
card. I was too zoomed out to see. So morale, you see the same thing. You have to have greater than 0 morale to play. So if I have 0 morale, I can't use overtime production to get an extra resource per territory. I would need to use. I would have to play. I would have to find a way to gain morale in some other way. There are cards that will allow you to gain morale by using them. And when you do that, then once you get back from 0, then you can kind of like, so for example, I have this territory, Raxius, right? So Raxius geothermal zone, if you look at the card, right above where it says where the territories produce, it says gain 1 morale if this produces a generic. So if I was at 0 morale and I wanted to play a morale card, it would make a lot of sense for me to take a generic resource on my turn so that I gain 1 morale so that I can then use that particular morale card. So, everything's got a reason. You don't necessarily have to, be an expert at all of this. You're just gonna kind of have to know how it flows. If you've got no in, if you're less than if they're 6 or greater away from you in intel, you can't use intel cards until you fix that. And then the same thing for morale. If you're at 0 morale, you can't play morale cards until you fix it. I think that was it. So you can get negative morale. No, you can't. 0 is the bottom. That's it. You don't get negative.
G Daddy said if you actually read a lot of these cards, they're supposed to have purpose.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Go
They
figure.
actually, it's
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
supposed to, they actually have purpose in standard.
yeah,
They do.
yeah. Go figure, right? I thought they were just doing it
There's a
for like
reason.
doing it for the art, but actually, yeah, they do stuff. Um,
Yes, every word means something.
hmm
That's
And
why, like,
it's
when you're
literally every
playing.
word. You gotta pay attention to what you're reading. It can get that granular.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you're playing with someone else, and so it's kind of like this mutual thing where you keep each other in line. Oh yeah, it's definitely like, but it says there's a comma here, so that like you can really get to that level. But generally, if you take the cards at face value, and as long as when you read it, most of the abilities, they are pretty clear on what the intent is. Some cards are a little vague, whatever. Some of the cards are a little vague, but most of the time you kind of understand what they're getting at. you know, we got to remember that we are playing we're playing a startup game, and so these cards are created, and they're trying to make it as clear as possible, but someone's gonna read it a certain way that no one thought of, and they're like, "Damn, that's right. I didn't even think about that. Oh
Yeah.
crap!" So just
And
that's gonna
that's
happen.
why a lot of times we've had, well, most of the times when there's a tournament, we have a ref. Or
Yeah,
when we have a live game
exactly.
that we're playing,
Yeah.
like on stream, we have a ref around. So we
hmm
have someone neutral who can
Yep.
help understand it.
Yeah, because when you're in the moment and you're reading the card, away, you're like, okay, I know, and you have it in your mind, like, okay, this is exactly how this is going to go. And then when someone's like, no, that's actually not how that works, you know, it's good to have a mutual, like a, someone to be kind of
Neutral guy.
neutral to be like, yeah, no, that's not actually how that works.
Yep.
Exactly, Joe. The vagueness is what home field advantage is. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people learn the hard way. Look, I've done it. I've made mistakes, all the time playing cards where I'm like, I thought I remembered what the card said, and I'm like, oh shoot. So
Yeah.
it's real easy to make those mistakes. It's just good to like, have a good attitude about it, and like, just be open for the fact that like sometimes you might have thought you knew what it said, but you made a mistake in how you read it, and that's okay. And as long as we're all keeping each other honest and just having
Yeah,
fun,
we just try to
it's
have
all good.
fun.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll
here's
learn
another
later. Like, oh,
building.
that was wrong. Whoops, sorry. All right, next time we'll get it right. Okay.
Yeah. Lorenzo Space Center. Oh, here, I'll show it to you. That's another thing we have. I mean, should I put these cards down so you can see them too? I don't know.
I mean, it's up to you. You can. It's
Rex, do you know what you want to do? What do you think?
yeah. Like Rexy, what are
Because.
you feeling right now? What do you want to do to me? You want to attack my morale? You want to
And
get
here's the
forces
thing.
out there, to like start hitting me? What are you thinking about?
So one thing, just to help you make a decision, also what Sevi was saying, and to answer G Dog, not G Daddy. I'm mixing your names, Bulldog. Um, So when you're playing, when you're playing a card, you also need to think about when it's going to be available. Like this card, we don't need it yet, even though it's available right now. We don't
Right.
really need it yet, but we're going to need to play. We're going to need to pay for it with these resources right here. So um, those are things we need to think about. So Rexy, no pressure. You want to start
Uh, I see
with
Bulldog is
either
wanting to cripple me. Uh-oh. Oh, snap.
already.
What I say? What I say? No, yeah, I mean that's really the point is you want to get, I'm not Sevi right now, I'm Lethabo. You're trying to kill Lethabo right now.
Yeah.
Lethabo's a pirate. He doesn't care what you guys think.
All right, he's
Right?
ruthless.
Yep,
And
he'll rob you, kill you, whatever. So just be careful.
also, you want to think about having resources so you can pay for stuff. So, cards that are resource cards are good to have.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Rexy, I see your question there. I see that there's a building that can give you intel per round. Absolutely. So the Lorenzo Space Center is actually one of my favorite buildings. This gives you a resource, which is power, and intel per turn. It's amazing. And also
ooh.
when you play it, so like it doesn't come out right away because it has a 1 turn timer, but when it turns over, um, you're gonna get power, you're gonna get intel, and then also I'm gonna lose 1 morale just by you playing the card. So
Oh, yeah, that's pretty nice.
so very cool. You get a
So,
lot for that card.
is that the card you want to play? Rexy's the one who makes the
That's right.
decision right now. I mean, we can all like contribute to the thought process, of course, but we'll have Rexy. Okay, so the resources that we have so far, yes, we
Yeah,
do
you
have
have enough.
enough. We
Yep, you got
have
plenty.
these two,
2 power, and then just one of the other ones. You just decide which one you want to spend.
and I would say since we have,
Yep, would be a good idea. Use one, so two of your power and then one equipment to play the Lorenzo Space Center.
So what you do is you take your resources
Yeah, I mean, look,
and you
Rexy, there's
pile them
no
up.
there's if you have a card that's gonna increase your resource production and your intel, for the rest of the game until someone deals with it, that's not a bad play. Um, and first turn, there's always like the most optimized play, but that's still a very strong play. You're going to start gaining intel and an extra power. So you're going to have, instead of two power next round, you're going to have three. So that means you get to play, that much, more in terms of cards. So that was a one turn card.
I can't see it.
Then let's see
There we
here. I'm
go.
just trying to field all the questions here. G Daddy, always be savvy. Oh, thank you. Building. We have enough resources. Yes, we do. Okay, the resource cards have a number value. Is that added to the? No. So they don't have a number value. The number that's to the left of it, that's like how many turns it's gonna take for the card to be ready. So like, um,
I'll
you
show
know,
one here.
yeah, if you want to just pull it up. So whatever the number is, like to the left, right? If it says 0, that means that as soon as you pay those resources, this card is going to be ready like right away. If it has a 1, that means the next turn, like when it's your turn again, it'll be ready. 2 is 2 turns from now. 3 is 3. So that's how you can kind of keep track of it. But ultimately, it's, so when you're seeing like, okay, I got a couple cards here, and I want to play all of them, but this card takes longer to get out than some of the other cards. Maybe I want to play that one first because I want to get it out now. Let's get it going. So this way we'll see it before the big leader abilities go off. The 0 timers are also great if you want to really take a quick hit. So it really just depends on what you have in your hand and what your leader's abilities are. You also want to like think about that, like what can my leader do, and how can I make that like ability like hit even harder. So attacking my morale is a real good idea because guess what? I'm gonna lose 9 morale on turn 5, basically, because of Ziana's ability.
Oh,
Yeah, and I've only got 17 morale.
we
So
should
knowing
look at
that, you're like,
his.
okay, let's try and chip away so that when that big move comes up, you want to get me to like compromise or as close as compromise as possible because you want to kill me before I kill you. So it's like a race.
And here's Lathaba's ability. It's good to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, so what Lafabo can do is basically he's a pirate. So he's going to do pirate things. I could steal an unused resource from you, and if you have nothing for me to steal, I can just gain a generic. So like no matter what, I gain an extra resource just for being a pirate. He found something, whether he stole from you or he stole from someone else, he found a way. Yeah, exactly, child. That 9 morale, and I had to. He didn't just play 3. He played a lot of cards that I had to pay for to avoid morale loss, which means you have to like that. One thing with Lethabo is you got to keep in mind that if you spend all your resources, you leave yourself exposed to those cards. And then he also has an ability called Heist. So again, he's a pirate. He steals things. That's what he does. So for each enemy, I could take control of a specific territory in their legion. So I can just go and say, you know what, Lorenzo, whatever this is, Pond's Research. Sorry, this is mine now. But I could do it for every enemy. So that's pretty crazy. So, he
Wait
can
till you
instead of
see what he does to us. Just wait.
so yeah, so being able to take extra territories, which means again, when it's your turn, you can gain extra resources. It's real cool. So yeah, all right, I'll stop talking now. Let's see what we're gonna do next.
All
So we
right.
played a card. Is there anything else we want to do before we pass our turn?
We're not ready to move on yet.
Can you add value? I mean, oh, you mean like these numbers? This is just the health. So the health can go down The health can be brought back. There's a morale card, I think it is. Rebuild the territory or something like that. There's some card that you can add back health. And then also, if you have Queen Awati, one of her abilities allows you to bring a territory, I believe, back that was destroyed or something. Um, yes, there is ways to heal your territories, but there's only like one card, I think, right now. Um, but taking territory will make you get 5. Yep, exactly, and that means that you have one less territory to protect you. Um, that's just what he does. He's a pirate, you know. He does pirate things. He steals. We all gotta make our own way in life, you know. That's what he does.
So Rexy is there as far as what we can afford right now, there are a couple more cards we could play. To he asked another he asked a question. Will it be of no use to if I take down your morale?
Yeah, I mean, like, right. So just because I take your territory doesn't mean that I'm gonna benefit from a morale gain, but I will take resources away from you that you need to play cards. So, um, if if you have less resources, you can do less things to protect yourself. So even though I might not gain morale, I'm still taking things away from you that you need. So there is still some value there. And then plus, if you didn't get my morale to 0, like let's say you weren't able to accomplish that throughout this whole process, that's one more territory you got to destroy. So there is value to it. But yeah. Okay, Rexy's saying use overtime production. Cool, cool,
I think
cool.
that's a good idea.
Why not?
Alright. We got
So you're gonna lose some morale for that, I think.
oh, is there ooh, that's a costly move, so might want to think about it. -3 morale.
Yeah, the good thing is that Ziana has 22 morale to start, so you've got some to, morale. Morale can be a resource in this game, as you can see. It's like, do I want to spend morale to
Yeah.
gain more resources? So, it just makes you think about, all those folks that have morale decks, and you're like, I don't like the morale decks,
Oh,
but
but it says we have to have more than 0 morale to play it. So we
you
can't
do,
play it yet?
you do. You have 22 morale.
Oh, the morale. I was thinking of this
Yeah,
other
Intel is 0
number.
right now.
Intel. Got it, got it, got it.
Yep.
Okay. So we can, you want
It
to do
says,
that.
but you're gaining 1 per turn when other card plays. So, right. So if you play overtime production right now, right, you're gonna spend whatever the cost is of the card, which I forget what it is. It's
An
just the
apple.
food. It's pretty cheap.
Food.
But then each of your territories produces 1 more resource,
Ooh, right now?
but just for this turn. It's not like every
Okay.
turn going forward or anything like that.
Okay. Got it. Alright, so we get another apple.
And
I mean
yeah,
another
so you
food.
get yeah, and then a fuel, a power, and an equipment, and then you also lose 3 morale for doing that.
Okay. Which one is this? Oh, power. Alright.
All right. And then
And
when
then
this card plays, once its effects are finished, you can kind of put it over in the discard pile, and then you just put back whatever you spent, and that's it.
okay, I didn't understand that it's just
Are they
one.
coming
You only
closer to
get it
having the
once.
automation play done? I mean, they're trying to get it done this year. I mean, we'll see what happens. Brandon has made a pledge to wear a pink dress if it doesn't happen. So at the
Which is
very,
good
at
motivation.
I mean, it might be motivation for him. I don't know how much of us wouldn't rather just be able to play this on the app, but either way, they are working towards it. I know they're working hard on it. So hopefully, we get some news towards the end of the year that They even have a beta version out, like maybe you can't make your own
Yeah.
deck, something. It's gonna be a blast. Being able to just play different, just to mix it up. Blitz is fun, but you want to break it up a little bit, get a little bit more in depth. You might like it if you. Yeah, that's true. You don't know. He might actually be wearing a pink dress right now. We don't even know. So just
His
something to
joke's
throw out
on
there.
us. I don't think he wants to, personally. What I know, I would say probably not.
I mean, I think he made the pledge. He created the pledge. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it was his idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his
I will
idea.
wear a dress.
Yeah, it was the first thought in his mind. So take it as you will. Exactly. I'd rather have standard. Exactly. Like, listen,
Uh,
just hire us. What do you need us to do? Like, let's help you get this done. I don't want to see any dresses right now. Fine pink
That's
camo.
funny.
So Ziana has a cool unique. Oh, is it Ziana? That has the cool unique card where it's like pink camo.
Yeah,
It's
she
really cool.
does.
Yeah,
She
it's
does have
awesome.
a pink
So
camo.
Bulldog, there is a pink camo card. It's a
Yes.
Ziana card. It's a unique
I
card,
think Andre
and
has it. One. I don't know who else. I
yeah,
think maybe
I
Kitty. I've
I
seen
kicked
her.
myself that I didn't buy any earlier because I really liked them. They're just like cool variations
He
of the
can handle it.
camo. Yeah, he's probably
Okay.
looking.
I wish he was lurking. No, I think he's a
Yeah,
little too busy to
yeah.
be playing games right now. It's down to the wire right now.
Ziana, G
So,
Daddy has the pink camo. Ziana has pink camo. I think Blackmail has like a blue camo, and
oh, that
it's
might
really
be the
cool.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one I think Andre has is really cool.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I know I was playing with him one day. I was like, "What? What? Where'd you get
yeah.
that?"
Very cool.
That's too cool.
You
So
can
the next
pick them
part
up
of
in
the
the
turn
market.
is
Yep.
battle
Yeah.
and
So, right, exactly.
of the
So,
turn.
if you had forces out there, right? Like, let's say if you had a force that had like a zero timer, which let me see, do I have any? Yeah. So look, if I had this guy, if I used my resources to play this card, which is Sergeant Garbo Makata, he's a zero timer, which means he's ready right away. And then I can use him to attack. So he only has 10 health. So you're thinking, okay, congratulations, you knocked 10 health off of my territory, but that's not like his strongest ability. He actually has this hijack ability when he's played that allows you to take control of a specific non-soldier force. So those words like specific, you're like, okay, I mean, of course I'm going to choose which card. Why would I not? But you can't specify a card that has like covert, for example. So there's certain cards that even though you might want to hijack them, you can't. But based on the cards that you're able to hijack, as long as it doesn't have stealth and you're able to select it and it's not a soldier, basically he's stealing like a vehicle, not like a person. And as long as it has a specific attack value and turn cost, you can take it over. So this is really strong card because if you have like a sub or something out there that I'm able to swipe by playing it, you've now lost that unit to me. And now that's one less blocker and one more attacker for me. It's very bad. Um, and he gets to act right away. So I could wait and hold on to that card until I have an opportune time to play it, because once you play the card is like when their abilities kind of like go off. So you don't want to play him early and then you play a card that I would be able to take. You kind of like wasted it. You want to like hold off and say, okay, I'm going to wait until there's a card out there that I want, and then I'm going to play this guy. So that's kind of like so you're not playing him for his attack value. You're playing him because he's going to gain you a whole nother force that you can use to attack your enemy. And when you steal them, you can attack that same turn with that unit. So it's like super powerful. Chow, yeah, it's OP. It is.
What
And
does
they're
OP stand for?
like
Some people don't
overpowered,
know.
overpowered. Yeah, like just it's a really strong card, and you don't realize just by looking at him, you wouldn't think much of him, but he's a really good card because he's fairly cheap. He can go out right away, and he could steal a good amount of units. Like for example, he could steal if you had this card, he could steal him. or her. It's a sub, so whatever. A Navy destroyer, sorry. So I could steal this destroyer from you, and then guess what? Now I've got Sergeant Garbo and this. So it's a really helpful card. You use it like when, like useful, like, oh, if I didn't have a card ready that I want to attack you, but there's one I could steal, well, boom, now I have one ready. Now I could use it. And then also, like, if you're trying to get rid of blockers, like, let's say if I had another card, but I'm afraid you're going to block me and stop me from attacking you. Well, I can use Garbo to take that blocker away from you. So now I've got 2 forces now that are going to attack you, or 3 technically with this guy. So,
OMG.
so there is reasons why you want to play him, and you might just decide like when you think it makes the most sense. Just look at the abilities of the cards before you play them, and make sure that like when you're doing it, it makes sense. Like I'm not going to play a card right now that's going to block air. Like if I don't have to, because you don't
Right.
have anything out there. So I'm just gonna wait and hold off unless there's some utility behind it. Um, he can instantly win the game if you're not prepared. Yeah, exactly. Like if you spent like a ton of resources and you're like doing all these things, um, there's ways you can like misplay, and that there's a lot in the game where there's optimization, like for sure. And there's definitely optimal plays no matter what you're doing. There's optimal hands, but you don't have to be an expert. You could just be playing for fun. So like we're not going to get into the weeds of like what's the most optimal play, but I just want you to be thinking about that a little bit when you're playing. Like, okay, besides the attack value, is there anything else this card is doing for me that maybe I want to decide when I play it? That's all I want you to think about. Don't worry too much about what's the best move, because you're going to learn that the more you play, basically. So,
Yeah.
all right, enough jabbering. So since you don't have any, so is that it? You guys weren't going to play any
We
more
don't
cards?
have anything to play in
Okay.
the battle right now,
Okay.
so
All right. So
it's your turn. So
I'll
when
be
you
quick
play
on my
your
turn.
turn,
Go ahead.
yeah, well, I was gonna say when you play your turn,
Do you want me to
um,
show anything? Do you want me to do
yeah,
anything?
let me flip the board around
Okay.
and if I can remember how to do it. Alt? No. How do I turn it around?
So if
Oh,
you
I figure. I remember.
you right
I
click, you
remembered.
can move around, like
I
the
remembered.
positioning,
Yeah. So
and then
now we
left
can
is
see
the yeah,
what you're playing. I'll
exactly. Okay.
probably forget like again, but all right.
You
So
can
now we
also,
can see what
if
you're
you
doing.
right click, I mean, I'm not teaching Tabletopia, but if you right click, you can set a camera view.
Oh yeah, I
So
did
you
that
can set
before.
it as
Let's do that.
like 2, and then when you go back to your side, set it as 1, and then we just like flip back and forth. Okay, so it's my turn. So I'm going to go through the Warsaken gameplay card found on my-arsenal.com.
That's right
Um,
there in the top right corner.
exactly. And I'm going to do my first thing, which is, can I return any forces? No, I don't have any return. There you go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a card. I've done that. Fantastic. And the next thing I'm going to do is reduce all my turn cost timers by 1. So Lethabo has an ability called Pirate, which has only got a 1-turn timer, which means it's available right now. And then also his 5-turn ability, which is Heist, is going to go down by 1. So I'm going to reduce that by 1. Cool, cool. And so now the turn cost, or the reduce phase, is done. The next thing is produce. So I'm going to produce here. So I'm just going to go through and produce for the territories. I'm going to just zoom out and do it like a little bit quickly. So this one here has 2 equipment. This has 2 fuel. Raxius, it allows me to decide what I want. So it's either I produce a power, or if I produce a generic, I can gain morale. So knowing Ziana's abilities, I'm going to use it to gain produce a generic, so that I can gain 1 morale, because I know I'm going to lose a lot of morale in this game. And then the next one here, I'm going to produce, let's say I'll produce another equipment. And then lastly, I will steal a resource from you, and I get to choose which one I want. Now, I know these decks, both of them, like pretty well. Um, so, Ziana needs food to play certain units. If not, if she doesn't have food, she has to spend a lot more to use them. So sometimes I might want to steal food because I know you need it so bad.
You're stealing my food.
But I'm not going to do that in this moment.
Okay.
I'm going to actually steal your fuel from you um, because I want it. And then, I mean, I could have taken the food, but whatever, it's fine. So I took a fuel from you instead. So one of those overtime produced resources was taken, but it was still good you did that because look how much resources you have. And now the next turn you're gonna have even more. So very good on your like you still are really sitting in a good spot. Okay. So the next thing I'm gonna do is, do you want me to put my cards down or something so you can see what's in my hand?
Yeah, sure, that'd be cool.
All right, I'm just gonna do that. So here's what's in my. Oh, sorry. Here's what's in my hand. Sorry, there's a bug with
Yeah.
Tabletopia. So Lethabo has got this one ship which you may have seen, which is really cool, and it's the Kraken. The Kraken is like, you know, it's got the highest attack power in the game, point blank. That's it. No one's got a higher attack value. So, just that's quick. Use target sabotage. Yeah, exactly. So, uh, Lethabo, his goal is to get out the Kraken as soon as possible because the Kraken just melts away territories. Every hit is 300 damage.
Wow.
However, he takes 3 turns to come out. So it's not fast, but once it gets out there, it's very devastating. So, Lethabo, especially this deck, it's like you want to release exactly downtown, release the Kraken. You want to get it out there as soon as possible. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play. So it's 2 equipment. It's 3 fuel. So guess what? That 1 fuel that I stole was for a reason. Got that. And then it's 1 generic, which I got that. And that's all I needed. So I can flip that over. This is a 3 timer card, so I'm going to set the timer to 3. And then that's probably all I could do because it costs so much resources. Like as you can see, the stronger cards, it's like it costs more to get it out there. Time, resources. So it's not like you can just immediately put out the Kraken. So question is, what is the 190 right of the 300? That's the card's health, Rexy. So 190 is how much health the Kraken has. So, if you were to, if the reason, like, so you can't like specify a force to attack it when you're playing this. Like you can't say, I want to take my sub and attack your Kraken, right? That's true. But when you're blocking me, like if you have a force that can block the Kraken and you have a force that does more than 190 damage, well, guess what? You can destroy it. Further, if you have a card that can pick off the Kraken, you might be able to do that, except the Kraken has an ability called Armored. Armored stops an opponent from able to pick it off, right? Pick off is basically this really strong ability that's like when a card flips over, like when it's ready. So, like for example, if this was a force or something, and it's like, oh, this card has pick off. Well, what? I can actually show you one right there. So, if you look at the Ghost Manta, and pick off has some text next to it. It says eliminate a specific enemy force this could block. So what that means is it doesn't matter how much health you have. If I can block you, I can pick you off. Now the defense to that is what's called armored. Armored says, no. If you have pick off, no, you can't pick me off because I'm too strong. You can't get to me. But there's cards that can remove armored. So like there's always some thing there that can kind of like counter another strategy. So Kraken generally is fine and is not worried about that. However, if you have a way of removing armored from the Kraken, then even this card can pick it off in one turn. Just flipping over, boom, Kraken's gone. So, even the strongest cards can be defeated in some way. You just gotta read the cards, see the abilities, see the cool things they can do, and you're like, all right, okay, I see a Kraken. Maybe I want to build a deck to be able to deal with that. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of that. The card has been coming out a lot in packs lately. I think that's actually true. I feel like I got a murdered out one recently. And then Garbo can steal the Kraken. Garbo can't steal the Kraken. So the reason why Garbo can't. So Garbo can steal. So let's go through what Garbo says. He says, take control of a specific non-soldier force. So far, you're fine, because the Kraken is, a Navy force. So it's a Navy cruiser specifically. So normally you're fine. So far, so good. The next thing it says is, without stealth, still good. Kraken doesn't have stealth. Okay, okay, okay. And then it says an attack value less than 100. Uh-oh, there you go. That stops you right there. Because the Kraken has 300 attack power. So you can't hijack. Basically, Garbo's good at stealing, but he's not that good. What's up, Markler? He ain't that good. But he can steal like smaller ships that are like a little bit weaker that fit that criteria. And then the last thing is the turn cost of less than 2. So I know Rexy, we're kind of getting into like the weeds a little bit. Um, the Kraken's turn cost is 3. So that's 2 things against you to stop Garbo from stealing it. But so Kraken can't be hijacked, but other forces can be. So basically, you look at the card, you see what the criteria is. Like, okay, I'm specifically looking for a card to steal that has less than 100 attack. It's only a 1 or a 0 cost timer, and it doesn't have stealth, and it's not like a soldier or something. Then I know that Garbo, boom, can steal it. So just it's one of those things where like when you want to play him because you're gonna see a card that fits that criteria on the other side. And you're like, oh, that's the card I want. I want that card right now, and Garbo's gonna steal him. But the Kraken is too strong for that. Can't do it. But basically, that's my turn. I can't play anything else with one resource. So I'm gonna pass my turn. That's it. So there's no
Okie
battle phase.
doke.
I've got no forces. And then I'm not gonna. I don't want to drag it on too much for you guys. I want to answer everyone's questions, obviously, but
Yeah.
So do you want to do another emote to see who goes next?
Excuse me. Well, I was thinking we could do too.
What's up?
Well, we were gonna give
Mm,
away some boosters, and
true,
since
true.
we could do a quiz for a booster. Oop, Chavunga. Cool.
He's ready. He's like targeted sabotage
Me.
right now. Two of them. Two of them. Yeah,
um,
hear it. Yes, that's a good. Okay, so question 1. First correct answer
wait,
to
wait,
this
yeah.
question.
First,
Okay.
yes, first correct answer. Well, let me
Yeah. Go
hang
ahead.
on. Let me
Sorry.
get ready. It's okay.
Sorry.
No, go. You're good.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
First correct answer. First correct answer is gonna get a booster. On your first turn, can you draw a card? So you're the first player on the first turn. Can you draw a card or not?
Do, 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 do. I don't know what the X was, but yeah, the answer is
The answer is no. Chow, you got the right answer there. If you are the first player on your first turn, like basically there's like very good corporal or is it C-pole or corporal? I don't know. And
corporal
Rexy, you
sounds
did
right.
correct
Sounds good.
yourself. I hear you there. Basically, there is a penalty for being first because you have an advantage. You get to be the first one to take the first strike, so you don't get to do as many things. Um, so you can't return, you can't
C-pole.
draw. C-pole, okay. Got it. Sorry, sorry. You can't return, you can't draw, and you can't reduce. You can only produce and then play. So, Chow, of course, you got the right answer. You're gonna get a booster, my friend. Or is
That
that
was
a
your
wheel
one boost.
spin?
That
Okay.
it's gonna be booster.
Okay, okay, okay.
Everyone will who participates will get on the wheel, but it's okay. Chowbunga, that was your one booster. You got it. We knew you were gonna win one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't even mind that it's not like 50 people in here right now because it allows you to kind of like, when you have a question, feel like you're gonna get lost in the chat and you can get your question answered. And like, ultimately, I want to just show everyone that standard's really fun to play, even as annoying as Tabletopia is. Um, and when it comes out on the client, people are gonna really love to play standard because
You have to
you're
play a turn though, G
yeah,
Daddy.
yeah, it's true, G Daddy. You gotta play a turn if you want the wheel. We're not gonna let you skate by on that one.
Nope.
Um, okay, cool. So, all right, so we got the first booster out
Um,
the way.
yeah, and and I'm gonna send them all at the end. But uh, Bulldog asked. I think he was answered by Chow. He asked if the next player draws on their first turn. The second player first turn. You see
I'm
it?
sorry, what was that? Where was the question? But can the other player draw on the first turn? Yes. So it's only the penalty only is to the first player on the first turn. Um, then after that, you're always following the 5 phases. It's just if you're player 1 on your first turn, you're only doing 4, 5, and 6 on that gameplay card.
All right. So it's our turn. There's
It is.
nothing. There's nothing to return
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't do anything.
Right.
So now we draw a card. Oh, very carefully.
Oh, gee,
All
Daddy,
right.
I didn't know you had an issue with your wallet. Um, I'll send you a couple things. All right. Yeah. So you can't return. You've got no forces out there. Phase 2 is the draw. Draw one card.
And then we got another weather card. All right. And now we produce.
Nope. You actually reduce. So you're gonna reduce all of
Reduce.
your reduce all your timers by 1.
Because you don't on the first turn for the first player.
Right.
And then this one is done. It's done
That's right.
flipped.
So as soon as the card, like a timer on a card, goes to 0, it immediately flips. And then if that card has like abilities that happen like right away, it happens at that time. So in this case, this card gives you um, uh, a power and an intel, and then I lose a morale. So the morale that I gained last turn from Raxius, I lost it just now.
Nice. So, and we get one intel.
You do. You get an intel, and you get to produce an extra resource. So you guys are going to be sitting pretty with some resources in a second.
Okay. Just one? We get to
Yep.
pick one?
Yep. Oh, it's just one power.
Oh, one power. Got it. I'll take
Mhm.
this one that we dropped. Okay,
And
and I'm
it
just
goes.
putting these
The
back.
power goes right on this card,
Oh,
right
thank
on
you.
Lorenzo. Yep. And the reason why that's important is because, if I had a card, if Lorenzo has 160 health. If I had a card that could destroy Lorenzo, you would lose whatever resources are attached to it.
Oh, okay.
That's why it matters.
Got
Otherwise,
it.
it wouldn't necessarily. Yeah. Oh, Sean's got a gold Lorenzo. He's flexing in the chat right now. Okay, okay, okay.
All right, so now we reduced and we did that. We played that. And now we produce. Okay. So
That's right.
we add two more of these.
I hope WARSAKEN puts this gameplay card on the Tabletopia board. It's right next to all this. I think it would be super helpful just to have something to tell you what to do.
Yeah, I like it. And it's easy. I mean, I have it on my phone. So,
That's
but
that's
I
true.
still
We did have
forget it.
that on one of the tournaments. It
Yeah.
was like, put this in the background of your phone
Yeah.
so you remember it.
Yeah, I was too scared to forget because on the tournaments you don't get second chances after what is it, the
Hmm.
first few times, and the rules are pretty strict in the tournaments, so
Yeah,
you
when
have
it comes
to
to tournaments, it's pretty
learn it.
strict. It's like three misplays is like a
Mm,
disqualification, and like it's a whole thing.
yeah.
And everyone makes mistakes. It happens. And it's not necessarily like intentional when things happen. It just happens when it is what it is. But that's what the refs are there for. Refs are there to kind of keep us in check and make sure that we know what we're doing wrong and try and correct us, so that we don't, because most of us are just playing, just to have a good time, and don't want to misplay things. But so the refs kind of help with that.
All right,
Okay, so
just
you're in
checking
the
chat.
produce. Wow, look at all those resources. I'm in for some trouble.
Sean. Okay, so we got our. Here's our cards for Chow to take a look. Sean. And thanks for the biddies, the cheer bits downtown if you're still here.
Yeah, thank you, downtown. Let's
Okay.
see what we got. G Daddy says good news. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Yeah, the wax wallet. It's a bittersweet relationship I have with that. So I feel you on difficulty with that.
Oi, oi, oi.
Sean's, is it just standard players or douche? Yeah, that's true. Uh, it's not why Blitz is better. It's just that like standard players have this air about them that's very douchey, but it's because they read all the cards. It's not their problem. They read all the cards. It's just how they come off. Um, yeah, they're walking around like, oh, they know all the card text. But
You're talking about yourself right now.
yeah,
You're saying they, but it's actually
yeah, it's actually just
you.
me. It's just me.
Okay. That's why I say I'm just a rookie. I still don't know anything.
Listen, we're all students. We're all students of the game.
I get better every time I play. I understand it a little more, so it's cool. Okay,
Yeah, learn by
so
playing. Learn by playing is what I
yep,
say.
I do
Uh,
better that way for sure. All
hmm
right, Chell, what would you like us to do here? I think Chow knows what's up.
Oh
He
yeah, I know
knows. He
exactly
knows
what
these cards.
I know exactly what Chow's gonna do.
Chow, oh, targeted sabotage. Okay,
Of
you got it.
course. Come on. You can probably play both of them actually. You have enough resources. All right, so let's
Well, I'll
look
let
through what is
Chow
targeted
decide.
sabotage. Yeah, it's true. What is targeted
Oopsie.
sabotage? Let's look at this real quick. Um, so this card is one of actually my favorite cards in this set one. Um, oh, are you showing it? I can't see it.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
let me put it on the middle
yeah,
so you
put it
can
on
see
the
it.
table. Thank you.
Oops, not both of them.
Okay. So targeted sabotage. A specific enemy shows you their hand, and then you can discard a card from it. Anyone you want. So Rexy, you were talking about like, hey, like, how do I like what's that 190? Like you want to get rid of a card. That's a great way to do it. Forget my health. You can just pick one. So with
Oh.
targeted sabotage, you pick a card from my hand and discard it. Any card you want. Now, if that card has less than a 2-turn timer, like the number of turns it takes to get ready, I also lose a morale. on top of that. So, like for example, if you pick the Kraken, I don't lose a morale. But if you picked, Ghost Manta or Garbo, I do lose a morale. So it's up to you to decide what's the optimal play, or what's the play that you think makes the most sense. Knowing what I have in my hand, you get to pick whatever one you want. You want to pick a WMD, boom, you could do that. It's up to you. So.
Can you? These cards aren't flipped. Three of your
Oh,
cards
is
aren't
it?
flipped.
Oh, it's a Tabletopia thing. I'm gonna flip it. Let me know if you can see it. How about that?
Yep, it worked.
Okay. Is that better?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, Sean, you can. You just pick whatever one. Yeah, exactly. Just anyone. Maybe you roll a dice and say, choosing between two cards, like a coin flip kind of thing. Yeah, sure. I might have missed it, but what tells you how resource cards, you can draw this turn? So that is the territories. The territories tell you how much you produce every turn. And then sometimes there are like our buildings that will also give you resources technically. So it's not just territories, but mainly territories. Yes, thank you, Sean. Territories, buildings. That's it. Okay, so Chow, what card do you want to sabotage? Actual energy, man. Yeah, exactly. Igor Bach. Yep. There's a couple of those. The Kraken, of course. Why, you don't want a second Kraken coming out? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right, I'll put the rest of my. So now I've showed you my hand. So the other benefit to targeted sabotage, yes, discarding a card is fantastic. The real
Oh, he's got
power of
a
this is I
WMD.
get to look at every card in your hand. That's really the strength of that card, because now I know, or I have a really good understanding of what it is that you're gonna
I
play.
was still looking at those, and
Oh,
you
sorry,
stole them
sorry, sorry.
from me. I mean, I was also
Oh,
showing them to everyone, so they could
yeah,
see.
yeah. Well, you picked your card already. No, but yeah, like so. That's really the benefit, is now you kind of have an insight into what I'm able to play the next few rounds besides whatever card I draw. So you've got a really good indication of what's coming. So that card, even if you don't care which one you like, to Sean's point, like if you're just picking a random one, but now you know what's coming or what I have the ability to play. Sometimes you can even use it just to check to see I don't have something. So like being able to look at your opponent's hand is like so powerful. So that's why it's one of my favorite cards. You get to look at their hand and discard a card. It's great.
All right. I think we looked at them the best we
Did
could.
you look at my cards enough?
Maybe
Oh,
not,
you
but I guess that'll
oglers.
do.
Taking my cards back. You guys picked you picked your targeted sabotage, and then when you're done with this card, you just discard it. That's it. Oh wait, did you pay the resources for this card?
No, not yet.
It's one fuel and one generic. So Chow, just decide which you're spending, basically.
And you have to do that in order.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you should be playing the resources first before the
But we
card
were
hits the
just
table.
got caught
But
up
yeah,
with
yeah.
the whole
Okay,
thing.
he's doing the equipment. Okay. So he did what you were thinking. So you can now discard this, and then your equipment goes away and your fuel goes away. All right, all right, all right, all right. Um You're
Anything
still in your
else?
you're still in your play phase. Yeah, that's true. Doesn't your opponent can draw a card the next hand and you don't know what that is, and that's the card they can play. Yeah, it's still technically your turn, Chow. You have resources here, and you got the hand there in front of you. However you want to go.
Double sabotage!
Double sabotage.
Wahaha! Woo!
So
Sabotage!
so you don't get the benefit of looking at my new hand, but you get the benefit of taking another card away. So still strong, still super strong. So you have to pay another fuel and another resource, another like generic resource, or just like whatever one you pick there. Yeah, I'm always getting hit with the double and the triple combos. You know, just how it happens. Okay, so which card, which card are you gonna bounce?
Oops, sorry. Didn't
Hey,
mean to
hey, hey,
grab your
hey, get out of
cards.
here! Don't you dare
Sorry,
grab
sorry,
my
sorry,
card.
sorry. Ciao.
Chow's gonna just casually
You're gonna
cripple
let
me and
me
then walk
pick?
away.
No, you pick. It's your game. It's your turn.
You can pick this time, Cat. Okay. I mean,
I was gonna
or we
make
can let
him pick.
someone else. We can see maybe if Bulldog wants to pick one, or who else we got here? We got Sean. We got Seapole. Whoever wants to pick one, if Chow is handing it over.
Look, in the field, I'm trying to dominate. Anybody trying to play, pick a leader, choose your forces, take some time to contemplate.
First card named in the chat. That's what's gonna get bounced.
First card named in the chat. Yes.
Let's try the Destroyer. Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's this one right here, which is
Oh,
the
this is
Black Wave.
sixth
Boom!
card.
Good job, Seapole. So bam, that's gone. That one hurt. That hurt. I took it personally. And
Oh,
Bulldog also said Black Wave. You both have the same thing in
perfect.
mind. Sean said Tsunami. Too late. Sorry, Sean. Can't do it. Uh,
Sean, oh, do we take Sean seriously though? Because he says "lol" every time. I don't know if he's playing. I don't know if he's seriously participating.
that says I'm the Destroyer. uh, yeah. So let's bounce G Daddy and the Black Wave. They both got bounced. Okay. So you're still in the play phase. You have resources to spend. What do you want to do? You could have taken 2 Kraken last turn instead of being distracted. Listen, I will never not confirm or deny that. Okay.
I'm Warsaken, so patient. Wait until you slip up, then I go and take it. The real leaders here, please don't mistake.
Chow, are you looking at these cards? I mean, you know what they are. Another card. Do you want to play another card, or go to the next?
You want to play the barrier? Yeah, probably. It's what, 2 power, right? It's 2 power, 2 generic. You should have it
Two,
up.
only one power. One, oh, sorry, so you could see it.
Yeah, I don't recall off the top of my head there.
I thought you had these all memorized.
Not quite. So it's an equipment, a power, and 2 generic. Yeah, you definitely got that. You've got more than enough to play that one. Put it on Pons or Lorenzo.
It,
So let's let
attach
someone in the
this.
chat decide. Um, I see Max is back there somewhere. G Daddy, and Sean, and what are we picking? Pons. Sean says Pons. Smart. Okay. So the cool thing about barrier, I don't want to spend like a ton of time on the cards necessarily, but hyper defense barrier, you attach this to a specific territory or building, as long as it doesn't have any other attachments, and then enemies can't specify it. So what does that mean? That means I if Lafabo wants to steal a territory from Ziana, I have to be able to specify it. I can't specify it if this thing is on there. So it's
Ooh.
very strong. Um, there's other fun things about Hyper Defense Barrier, which I won't get into, but basically, this card is very strong because it's like you got to destroy this card before you get to wherever it is. Now, it does say with no other attachments. So, Chow, I don't remember. I know there was always this debate that like the resources are technically attached to the territories, and So I don't know if you lose those resources by attaching it or not. But that's something to think about. We don't have to do it right now. But I forget what the ruling was on that, to be honest with you. But let's say that it doesn't matter for now, and so you would attach this to pawns, and then your resources. I think they did decide on that, child. I just don't remember what they said. I can't remember. Um, because because there's a set 2 card, which is going to come out, which can remove an attachment, and when you can
Oh.
and they can use that to remove a resource. So I don't know. It's up in the air. Who knows? But yeah, these 2 cards are spent.
Yeah,
Um,
but wait, we also need to do the generics. I
oh,
thought
it's
we
also a one
talked.
timer. Yeah, so it doesn't come out yet. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I was looking
yeah.
at that, but yeah, two
Which
more.
yeah. Wait, hold on. What is it? It's 2 generic. Yeah. So which 2 resources are you going to use besides these 2 to pay for
I
this?
would say one of these and one apple. 'Cause I don't want to use up both food. Or one of the power.
Pretty sure.
Anyone?
I'm pretty sure you're going to use the equipment and something.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe equipment and power, probably, because you have a surplus.
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Oh, whoops. I don't know why that's doing that.
as we're looking at it. Okay.
And then, so you still have 3 resources there. Is there anything else in your hand you want to play with the 2 power and the food, or are you good?
Mm, can't afford that. We don't want to do that yet. I don't think. Okay, that's it.
I was so ambitious for how far I thought we were going to get in this match. Um,
I know. It's like,
in my mind, I was like, yeah, we're going to breeze through this, but, but it's still
that's why
good
I
that
was saying that there's no way
it,
we're gonna finish a game, but
it's good. I feel like we're answering a lot of questions. That's helpful.
we
So
could even save it for
we
another.
can.
We could save it
Yeah,
for next week.
that's true. So what we could do is we'll just have a stopping point, maybe in a turn or so, and then we'll just pick it up next time, and then we'll
Yeah.
finish the game, and then you see if
Well,
you can beat me. All right. So I'm gonna return cards. I've got nothing to return. I'm gonna draw cards. I'm gonna do that. Cool. Perfect. This is exactly what I needed.
oh
I'm gonna
really?
reduce any timers.
I told
So
you you need to work on that poker chatter. You're like,
uh,
yes, yes.
oh, whoops, this is 3, not 2.
Oh no, that was
Yeah.
Chow. Chow was like that. He was
So the heist ability
giving
is
it away.
ready, so I'll use that in a second. So I've reduced everything, so now I'm going to produce. So I'm going to produce another generic here to gain another morale. I want to try and fight your morale over here. I don't like it.
Mm.
Um,
Just
I
a
need
second, Bulldog.
2 fuel. I get 2 equipment.
Well,
Uh,
Marklar, we're actually having people play against SEVI, so it's a little different format that we're doing.
yeah, we're basically doing chat versus me. Or it'll go quicker. So,
Well,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
learning.
yeah. Marklar, we could just play 1-on-1. It's all good. We're just doing this as just trying it out as a different format. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my heist ability. So I am going to steal. I
What?
think I'm gonna steal your food. I don't
Oh,
like that.
oh
I don't like you
man.
have so much food over. Oh, you actually had 2 food there.
Yeah, it's a
But
good thing.
I don't like that, so I'm gonna steal one of those. So I did that, and then so I've done my return, my draw, reduce, my produce, and now I'm gonna play. So let's see what I can do.
Yeah, we don't really need to go over what you're playing. I think that gets a little too
Yeah,
complicated.
yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna play cards.
Just play.
I'm just gonna play.
Um, Bulldog, the weather, we didn't use the weather yet. The reason I said not to use the weather yet is because when you use the weather, it affects both players, for one thing. And I didn't really want to necessarily use that yet. I don't know. Yeah, it could. It's just you kind of go as you're playing to see what you're gonna do. You could have a lot of different reasons, but you have to keep in mind that weather affects both, and it also depends on what kind of weather card it is.
Yeah.
And so
Okay, and that's my turn. Done. So I didn't. I don't have anybody to battle, and I played the cards I want to play, and I'm just gonna reserve some resources just in case. I got
mhm.
to get hit with some stuff from Ziana there, so I've got
Okay.
some extra resources.
Sean asked if you reduced your morale for Lorenzo, but we didn't.
It only happened once, and I did, but then I gained it back because I used Raxius.
Ugh,
So
there we
this
go.
territory here allows me to gain morale back if I get a generic, and that's what I did. So
Well, we got a ref in here now. What's
I
going
guess
on?
so. That's okay. Listen, everyone, no one's
I'm
perfect.
just teasing Sean because he's such a troll.
He's being a rules
Okay.
lawyer right now. But yes, I did reduce it.
Rules
Now
lawyer.
says you use it when he has potential heavy attacks. Yeah, exactly. Like the weathers are really good for blocking or like stopping attacks from happening. It's not about taking extra turns in standard. It's more of like stopping things or giving a boon to like your cards. So like for example, like I have a weather card here, right? And it says 20 health this turn to each navy. So that doesn't stop. That doesn't give you an extra turn. And then it says soldiers and army forces can't attack or block. So like if you had soldiers and army, I can like you can't attack me if this is out there. Um, so there, each weather has its own unique thing that it brings to the table, and you just play it as you think it makes sense.
It gives you an extra turn because it helps get ready and block the enemy.
Yeah, I mean it's just not in the same way that you're expecting in a blitz, where you're gonna go 2 times in a row. That's all.
Yeah. So our weather that we have, forces can't attack or block, and that affects the weather affects everyone, just
Yep,
like in real life.
exactly.
If you're in the same area.
Hmm.
So, okay. So, who's gonna play the next turn?
Oh, we gotta do another emoji, or what is it?
Yeah, whoever's gonna play the next turn, throw down
Okay.
a pop.
Oh, pop red.
Don't be
No double,
scared.
no doubles, no doubles.
No Chow, no Rexy. It will help you. Just don't be scared. If you want to get on the elite wheel.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to get out there, Bulldog redeemed. What is? Okay.
Well, I don't know if that means you want to play the turn or if you want to, because you have to just put it in
Well,
the
you know what?
chat.
He probably clicked that paw print. So I mean, like like when you can spend your channel points, he might have just
Yeah,
clicked that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So Bulldog, did you want to get in here and try a turn?
Were you trying to play a turn? Sean, it's not your turn unless you put a paw down. Shh. Shush. Or ban. Time out for Sean.
Yeah. Time out for bad behavior.
So yeah, if you want to play, you put the maybe he doesn't know how to use the emotes. I don't know.
Blackmail him in real life. Yeah, exactly. Just like reach out to me
I don't want to talk
on
to
the
you,
side.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sean, okay, he wants to play.
Call chat with cat.
That's for another time, not right now. Go away. Okay, I did that for Bulldog.
Okay, Bulldog said yes. Okay, cool. So Bulldog wants to get in here and get a turn. So
You are now
see how we
muted,
do.
Chow. Chow, you can help out. Just don't help out too much, okay? Let him learn. You're just too pro for this. So pro. Alright, so remember the turns in your gameplay. We don't have anything to return still. And we draw. I will draw a card for you. Very slow. Because I'm so bad at it. Okay. Okay. And then the next part of the turn is to reduce. Put that away. So we get to make this card active.
What do we got? What's in there?
Where's that flippy flip?
Oh, it's like the top. Yeah, there you go. Oh no.
So we're gonna attach this to a specific building.
Yep. So it's a building or territory. So I guess Bulldog, where do you want to put hyper defense barrier? And basically, this thing is an extra layer of defense, whatever you put it on. So they have to destroy this first before they can get to whatever is behind it. So pretty powerful. But it's only like a building or a territory. So building is Lorenzo Space Center, and the territories are the 4 territories to the left, to the right of Xana. You can pick whatever one you want. Put it on the food. Okay, so he's saying biofuel. All right, so we're adding an extra layer of defense, hyper defense, on biofuel.
Yeah.
So basically, I can't get the biofuel now unless I destroy that first. Just makes it a little bit slower. And also, if I were to destroy hyper defense barrier, sorry, there's like other cards back there. If I were to destroy hyper defense barrier, I couldn't target the territory behind it until next turn. It's like we can get into that another day, but it's really helpful. Let's put it that way. It basically delays taking damage for at least a turn or more, depending on the attacker.
G Daddy, it's step by step, play as you go, so don't worry. It took me a minute to learn.
Yeah, don't.
I played it multiple times.
You don't need to know half of the things I'm telling you right now. You need to know the play phases, which is up there on the screen on the top right, and then you just have to know, like, like producing resources and spending them to play cards. Once you do that, all the rest of the stuff you're gonna pick up as you're playing. Bulldog, should it have been played on the lower value territory? Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. You could change it if you want. I mean, so Pond's Research Center is a territory that produces a lot of power every turn, but it has very low health. That's like the balance. So adding it there makes sure that I can't, because remember, the Kraken has got a 300 attack value. So once the Kraken, and you know it's coming, right? So once that gets out there, it's just going to start slamming on these territories, 300 each turn. So pawns would be like basically evaporated if you didn't have something blocking it. So it could be hyper defense barrier, or if you have like a navy force, you could block it. But yeah, so just to throw that out there. But it's up to you. We're not worrying about optimal play right now. We're just playing and just having fun. But
Sean, it's not your turn. Shush. Just teasing. I mean, just because you tell something, boss him around, it's not gonna make him do it. But Bulldog, you decide. But like, he's thinking about it. He's like, I'll do food. Maybe I should do that. Just give him a minute. When I play, I take forever to make decisions like this myself. Okay, power produce.
Power producing territory. Okay. All right, cool. So let's just swap yeah, exactly. Just bring that over there. That's probably the more common play with this deck is hyper defense barrier is trying to keep pawns alive so that you can play those important cards later that require power. I need to play every 20 seconds. Otherwise, even in Blitz, we know. Yeah. Otherwise, it's too slow. Yeah, Sean is for instant gratification. We understand it, but when you win a standard game, it's very rewarding.
I
So
think it's freaking fun anyway.
yeah,
Right.
it is fun.
I know you're playing G Daddy. Okay, so we need to build. We need to do our producer now.
Yeah. So you reduce, now you produce. So all your territories are going to produce the resources.
And I can't see them. I'm looking at the wrong screen.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean, playing in the Blitz tournament, like it's fun. Everyone has lots of fun. Because it's like fast paced. But there's always those games where you're like, man, that player got a lot of sixes, and
Oh,
I got
I
a
know
lot
the
of,
luck.
you know.
There's not as much luck involved in this.
Yeah, this is more like, okay, if I play my cards right versus luck of the dice, I can win. And so that's why when I say that, like, the wins can feel more rewarding because you've kind of put some thought into what you're putting together and you got a plan. Very similar to when you put thought into making a blitz deck, but this is just like the next step up, basically.
I'm gonna put those away blindly. All right. And this one just stays the way it is with the extra one, right? Nothing happens.
It gets
Easy
another
peasy.
one
It does get
every,
another one.
and you also get another intel
Oh
this
right.
turn.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So
So,
wait. Okay.
oh yeah.
Oops. I didn't take all of them, did I? Okay. There we go. Sometimes I grab too many. Okay, and then one more until.
So, CPOL, it's not on the WARSAKEN website. You can actually, this is a downloadable image on my-arsenal.com. That's just a website that me and my friend Relay Logics are putting together just with like a lot of resources on the game. So you can definitely download this. I have it like huge on my screen right now.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it like the size of a card, but on your on your PC you can kind of like zoom in, or even on your phone you can zoom in
Yeah.
and just like get it to where you're comfortable.
It's
So yeah,
right here. The link is just above these couple of conversation. It's
thank
right
you.
here.
Yeah, and there's some fun stuff in there. Myself, like I wrote like 2 articles on there so far, just like talking about some of the abilities of some of the cards and like how uh, you know, how like they add to the game. And then Relay Logics has been like putting together like little like paragraph, 2 paragraph like summaries of cards that like just stuff that you might not know how it would play like in a game, just to kind of walk you through like how it can help your gameplay. Instead of like I need to fix the website, didn't get enough stuff. Yeah, thank you, Sean. Sean's also been helping out a lot with our layout and stuff like that. um we're trying to get up there, but basically we want this to be a resource for like new players, experienced players, just to get perspectives from other players in the game, like what they've done or things that they find useful or fun. Yeah, absolutely, Sipol. um, so check it out. We're gonna keep adding more content on there as we go along, and then even as we get into set two, we're gonna be working hard to get you know perspectives on the new cards that came out, like what's cool, maybe what we think is kind of weak, and to and we're just trying to get it from different perspectives and different players, because everyone brings like a different point of view, which I think is useful. All right, so you guys got your production ready. Do you have any cards that you want to play?
I'll open them up for ya. Yep. Bulldog, you have another thing. So with the play, Basically, you can play as much as you can afford or want to afford.
Yep.
So if you want to see the cards closer, just tell me. You got the brainwash. Probably.
With or without your permission.
We don't have anything to play it on yet because he hasn't played it. Some weather. Just can't attack. Specific enemy can't block during the next battle. You have the butt fly, which is a pretty cool card. I love it.
Oh yeah, this card's really powerful because it has this ability called Ended, which is like if this card is out there and my leader is like compromised and you hit it one time with this card, which even though it only has 10 attack, because of this ability, you kill my leader instantly. It's basically like you're assassinating it.
Oh.
And you can also do that with a soldier force. So the way it happens with soldier forces is if like a soldier is blocking you, someone with air is blocking you, or if you're whatever the case is, if it's hitting a soldier force or a leader, they're gone. So if it's like a soldier with anti-air, or if it whatever it is, or if it's hitting the leader, boom, it's gone. Very strong. So this is the way like Ziana wants to get your morale to 0, and then she wants to get this card out there. Or there's another card that has another that's got a similar ability to just try and take out Lethabo with one shot. So she's pretty deadly and dangerous.
Takes no damage during battle. With evade. Stealth can't be blocked by forces.
But there's a little caveat down there. Can only block non-drone soldier forces, which, you'll know that like when you're wanting to block somebody, so you can kind of ignore that part. But then it says, if this loses stealth, it's eliminated. So that's the only, tricky part with that card is making sure you maintain your stealthiness, because there's cards that can take it away. There's buildings that can take it away. There's forces that can remove stealth, and when that happens, that card immediately gets destroyed. Okay, so Bulldog wants to play diversionary tactic. Is there a turn timer on diversionary, or is it a 0? I forget.
0.
Okay, so with that one, specific enemy can't block. So Bulldog, like I have no blockers on my side right now. So you don't have to worry about that one too much because there's no one out there. Like if you had a force, you could just attack me right away. I don't have anybody to block you. So what I would suggest, if I were to give you a suggestion, is probably one of your weathers, or if you want to get down that bot fly or something, those might be more worth it. And then maybe hold on to the rest of your resources for when you get a card that's like really gonna, or if you want to use that later. Like if I get another card out there that can block you, that's when you're like, okay, I want to attack you, but I don't want you to stop me. Boom, diversionary tactic. So,
And this is gonna take a minute to be ready too.
Yeah, it's gonna take a turn at least, right, for the bot fly. Yeah.
And also, you have stuff cooking over here.
Yeah, and then all the weather cards don't cost resources, and they're 0 timers. So like, and if you look at that weather card, it says the forces can't attack or block. So you're getting what you wanted with the diversionary tactic, but for free. You just can't attack me also, but you don't have anything to attack right now anyway. So you're just like protecting yourself. Yeah, cool. So he wants to play the weather. So like you're protecting yourself where if I have a card ready next turn, I can't attack you as long as that weather's out there. So, all right, cool. So he's playing the weather. And so whenever you play the weather, yeah, exactly. You kind of turn it over on its side right in the middle. That just lets everyone know right now there's a blizzard out there and no one can attack or block while the blizzard is going on.
And you usually play the weather last right before your turn's over, or does it
You
matter?
play it in your play phase.
Oh, you do it
Um,
in the play phase. Okay.
yeah, exactly. Because
And
you wouldn't attack anybody until your battle phase. So
right.
uh, you couldn't like attack and then say, okay, now I want to play weather or something
Yeah,
like that.
got it.
No sneaky moves over there.
Okay.
And then yeah, and then you can play one. You can play at least another one card, and then the other ones kind of don't make sense to play, really. Um,
So should we start setting up that one up? Probably, huh? Or
it's really it just
we don't really
depends.
have.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to the chat if you guys want to play the bot fly now, or if you want to just hold your resources. I'll leave that up to you, because the other cards are not going to have any effect this turn. It'll just be kind of like a waste.
All right, chat. What do you think? Play or not to play the bot fly?
To play the bot fly or to not play the bot fly.
That is the question. And it's basically just going to be on the turner.
Yeah, so you would
Yep.
just play the
It would just be
power
quick.
and the generic, and then it'll be a one timer. So it'll be Botfly takes 1 round to prep. Yeah, exactly. That's right, Bulldog. Yeah, so it won't be ready till next turn, basically.
Do 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 do.
No, the Kraken's got 2 turns. So not next turn, the following turn.
No.
I can't see the
Here.
counters on your cards. Oh, on my cards. So
Here.
the Kraken has a 2 timer on it, which
And
means
we
in
know it's a
two.
kraken because of the pile of resources you put.
Yeah, exactly. So in 2 turns, the Kraken's going to come out, and then there's another mystery card which is going to come out next turn. Don't know what it is. Bulldog strategizing right now. He's like, all right, what are your counters? Let me see what you got coming out. But remember, you have protection with that weather that I can't attack or block. The only way that that can be removed is if I have a weather to play that can like change the weather, basically.
Oh,
But
that's right.
otherwise,
You can change the
yeah, I could
weather.
change the weather with my own weather. But if I don't have a weather, then that will stop me from attacking you this turn.
I'm trying to remember. I think you do have a weather.
I do have one. You saw it was tsunami.
Yes, he has a scene on.
So I do have an ability to remove that if I want to.
All right, we'll do it. One generic and one fuel. I mean, power.
Need to get the bot fly ready. All right, there you go. So a power and a generic, and bot fly is gonna get out there to do some damage. Cool. So I know we're getting a little late.
Yeah.
You think maybe we'll do like another turn and just call it for tonight, and then we'll pick it up next time? It's up to you
Yeah,
guys.
we have that elite pack, but
That's
I don't
true.
know if we should do it tonight or wait. If we're gonna keep playing the game, we could
Yeah.
save it for later. But
Let's want to do like a pack or two giveaway right now.
boosters.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Let's give away a couple packs. We have a few out there. So we're gonna do a couple questions real quick, and let's give away some packs.
Okay.
All right. So
First
uh,
answer in the chat.
yeah, first answer in the chat. Um, let's see here. Let me think about this. Um, What? Give me first answer in the chat. One of the three ways you can compromise a leader. Let's hear it. There's three different ways you could do it. Just give me one. Morale loss. Yep.
All
Reducing
right.
morale to 0. So, Marklar, you got the exact answer, which is reducing the arsenal to 0. So morale loss is true, but specifically, it's getting it to 0. That's the thing. Rexy also, yes, no territories. Okay, so what I think we should do here is Marklar gets a pack. Rexy. I think they should also get a pack. Let's everyone get a pack. Let's get
Everyone? A
Rexy,
pack for
Seafall,
everyone?
Bulldog, those and Marklar. Those four should get a pack. You all
Okay.
had the right answer. I don't want to be like nitpicky and be like, oh, you didn't say specifically 0, but that's the idea. Getting the morale to 0, removing all the territories, or um, reducing the arsenal to 0. All of those ways will compromise a leader and then put the leader in the danger zone. So there you go. Fun stuff.
All
Fun
right.
stuff. Packs are the best. I love opening packs. Even if it's boosters, doesn't matter. I love it. Just that feeling you get opening a packs. Maybe you get a night vision, like you get hype. Even if it's for boosters, I still have fun opening packs. I love it.
Sure. Awesome.
All right, cool. So so that was the play phase. Let me do my turn, and then maybe if you want to do another couple questions, maybe we'll give away a few more, and then we can call it if you want. All right, so I've got nothing to return. I'm gonna draw my card. Sweet. I'm gonna reduce my timers, so this is ready. This is gonna go to 1. This is my first leader ability is ready. My 5-timer leader 5-time leader ability is almost ready. This card is going to flip right away. It says that it has stealth, and I can pick off a specific force that I could block, but I don't have anything to block, so nothing gets picked off. So let me put away these resources. Okay. And then then I'm gonna quickly produce. I'm gonna get Araxius generic to get another morale back. And 1 and 2. 1, 2. And this one I'll take a there. And then my leader ability. So I've produced my leader ability. I'm gonna play it, which I'm gonna steal a resource from you. And I think I want to take a power time. Steal a power. And this guy's over here. So normally, if I just left it at that, I can't attack because of this weather. However, I will still play some cards in the meantime. So I'm going to take these 2 equipment and I'm going to exchange it for a power. So really, I can exchange any 2 resources for another resource. So I could also just do this. It's a little bit cheaper, actually, to get 1 other resource. I think I'll do that. So I'm exchanging 2 resources to get another resource that I want, which is a power. And I'm going to play something called Rummage. This is an intel card. We haven't really seen a lot of these yet. So this intel card allows me to draw 4 cards from my deck. So I'm going to do that really fast. Boom. Cool. And I'm able to play it because I'm still within 6 intel of you, so I haven't lost the intel battle yet. Okay, so I'm gonna do this really quick. Move these out the way. Um, let's see, what else do I want to do? Okay. Okay. Do this and do this, and I'll play Agent Zara Zavai. So Agent Zara gains me 2 intel. Oops. So I'll gain 2 intel right away. So now we are actually equal in intel. And Agent Zara also has stealth, and they're ready right away. So I'll put these resources away. Okay, and then the last thing I want to play is I'm going to play this card, which is called Tsunami. So that's going to remove your weather from the battlefield and
How
replace it
dare
with my
you?
weather.
How dare you?
So all my Navy forces get plus 20 health. So my Ghost Manta, which had 80 health, now has 100 for this turn. And then all the soldier and army forces can't attack or block. So Agent Zara can't attack or block, but my Ghost Manta can still attack. So I'm gonna hit um, your Hyper Defense Barrier for 100 damage.
What?
I don't like that there. I don't like it. I want it gone. It's stopping me from getting pawns, which is what I want, so I'm gonna attack it. So now your Hyper Defense Barrier only has 60 health left on it.
Okay, so we need one of those little thingy-majigs.
Yeah, you can take out like a counter from there. Um,
Wait, how do I do this?
oh, you could just like if you just right click and then you do take.
No, I got it. I got it.
Oh,
I'm
you
just
got it. Okay.
wondering. Wait, I made it negative 50. So I put 60 there.
Yeah, just 60. Hmm.
I actually never used these before, so I haven't
Look at that.
had an opportunity to. So that's cool.
Yeah. So what's cool is like if I destroy Hyper Defense Barrier on my next turn, I can't target pawns still because
Oh,
I wasn't able to, because basically all the attacks happen at the same time. So like, it's like the last thing I'll add before maybe we do one more question or something and then we call it. But like, let's say if I say, oh, I want Agent Zara to go here, I want this sub to go here. It's all happening at the same time. It's not like, oh, this hits first, then this hit. Like it's not like that. So since I couldn't get to pawns because of the hyper defense barrier, once it's destroyed, I can't then decide to go behind it. Like it's only when at the beginning of your battle phase, if you can specify something, you can attack it. If not, you gotta wait till the following turn. That's just how it goes, and that includes leaders. So same thing in Blitz. You destroy all my territories. You can't immediately go and kill or can you in Blitz? You can actually in Blitz, but it's different in Standard in that way. So in Standard, you can't just immediately go and destroy my leader once you've compromised them. You have to wait till the following turn because you couldn't target them in the battle phase that you started. That's just that little caveat. So that's a little bit of a breakaway from Blitz. Um, you got to first clear all the way, and then you can start going after them. You can't do it all in the same turn. There are ways to get around that, which that's a little more advanced classes. But for right now, just know if you're destroying something to compromise a leader or to compromise a territory or something like getting rid of defense barrier, you can't then go behind that right away. Okay, so last question. If I destroy all 4 territories in one turn, because I have 4 Krakens out there or whatever, in that same turn, can I hit a leader? Bulldog, don't worry about remembering all this. It's gonna become second nature once you play enough. You'll just kind of remember, and then if not, your opponent will correct you. No, you can't. Exactly right, Paul. You cannot target a leader in the same turn. That question. No. Oh, based on question, no. Yeah, exactly. On the same turn as they become compromised, you cannot target them. There are ways to get around that, but generally, if it's just territory destruction, the answer is no. Sometimes leaders can get compromised before the battle phase. That's the difference. But if you're doing it in the battle phase, which is like the last part of your turn, you can't go after them. So Seapol and Mark Lar, I think they can get backs, and I think we could save the rest for
Two
next.
packs.
Yeah, and then I think we can save the rest for next time. We have a couple more still.
Okay, I was thinking we have enough people to put their names on the wheel
Oh, true.
for the
Let's do it.
That's a good amount of people, I think. If it was like 4, I wouldn't want to do it, but I think it's
Let's
fine.
do it.
After my momentary cough attack, excuse me. Okay, so
I'm gonna put this on your leader to know that like when we play again, it's your turn. Just so that we remember.
It's resetting. Hang on.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
What did you put on my leader so we know that that's how we know that it's my turn next?
Yeah, like so, like basically, like because I figure we're gonna pause it, and then we'll come back next time. So like when we play again, it's your turn basically.
Okay, so we could come back like next week at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, next week I'm not around. Next week, the
Oh.
following week I'm around though.
Okay, so 2 weeks.
And I'm also on with Marklar next week too. Not next week, the following week. So, but that one it won't be like chat versus me. It's just gonna be me versus Marklar. We'll be chatting it up. We'll give away some packs. You know, we'll play some of the game. Just get you to see the gameplay more. And then, you know, if anyone has questions, I'll be there to answer it, of course.
Okay, let me put these names on here. I'm gonna do shortened version. So thanks for all for being here.
Yeah.
And learning and playing along.
This was a lot of fun. I appreciate everyone showing up and you know, paying attention and asking questions. You know, that's how you learn. And once you actually get out there and you start playing, you're gonna really start picking it up.
All right, should we put G Daddy and
yeah?
Who else? Sean was kind of pulling. He was kind of. I don't know. Sean. He was being a smartass.
He was trolling, but he was participating also. Okay. Besides trolling, so I'll
it was a trolling participation.
Yeah.
G Dad G. That's funny. Okay. Okay.
And do we miss anybody? There was Rexy. Oh, you got Rexy. Okay.
I think we got everyone. All right. Let's see who gets. By the way, I gotta do a shout out for. So this was donated by Crypto Wrench. So let's do a shout out for Crypto Wrench. And did that work? Oh, I didn't send it yet.
Nice. Thank you.
Make sure you follow Crypto Wrench, and Max passed it on, and I'll do. You know, everyone follows Max, right?
You must.
Everyone already does. I'll do a different kind of shout out for her just in case. When she was lurking. I tried to get her to play. I was like, you can get the prize too, but she's mostly just listening. So. And then also follow Chow because he plays standard a lot on his stream also. Probably more than anyone I've seen. All right, so let's see how who gets it. Who gets it? Should we do some shuffles first? Let's see. I'll do three shuffles,
Sounds good.
and then let's go. Good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
And the winner is
Oop.
Seapole.
Nice. All right. Congrats.
Congrats. Awesome. You got
That.
it. Right on.
Oh
You
yeah,
did it.
you're gonna like the
It's-
elite packs if you haven't opened up any of those yet.
I'm gonna send it right now. Right now.
Yeah. Thank you, Bulldog. Thank you for being here. Look, we're gonna do this again. So you keep tuning in. We're gonna give away a lot more packs, and just gonna keep having fun and showing you the different ways you can play the game. It's not just Blitz. There's other stuff. Once Cabal gets out there too, we'll play that too. But yeah, thank you guys
Oops.
so much for spending the time with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun. We want to get this game out like to more people, so we have more people to play with and more people in the tournament. And that tournament is coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
So
So there is a standard tournament that's coming up. We are going to be organizing it with Blue Mint, so very similar to how
oh,
the Blitz.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it will be with Blue Mint, so they're gonna help like manage the brackets basically.
Uh-huh.
And we're looking towards like third, middle to end of July, for that tournament start. So they're gonna be sending out some updates once we have like a date nailed down. And in the interim, we're gonna keep doing these to kind of get people introduced, and because we want as many players in that as possible. It just gives everyone an opportunity to get out there and you know have some fun, and maybe you win some really great prizes. Blue Mint's going to be kicking in prizes. WARSAKEN and also myarsenal.com is going to be kicking in prizes, so a lot of stuff to win. Cabal, yes, Mark Clark. Cabal, there is a third form of the game that was planned from even like early inception, which is basically like a single player format, which basically allows you to kind of like battle through leaders, like opposing leaders with your deck. That's like,
Solo, right?
yeah, it's like a solo
Single
play
player.
basically. Yep. So that's like far down the road, but I think the Kickstarter does have rules included to play that on your own too. So got a couple different formats, and there's more coming too. The devs and the game testers are always coming up with fun ideas that might eventually make it your way. So
I think I have everyone's wallets here. Let me check. I know Rexy's, I know Bulldogs, I know G Daddy, I know Sean. Okay. Actually, Chowbunga, can you put your wallet down for me? And I'll be sending these boosters out here in just a little bit after we say goodbye. I gotta find someone to raid into. Real quick. Is anyone playing Warsaken right now? Let's see. No one's playing Warsaken right now, but we could do. Oh, maybe we'll go into Mitri Man. I haven't raided into him yet. We'll see. Alrighty, 1 second. Can you hear it? I don't know if I have it on mute or not. There we go. Nope. Alrighty. Cool. Chowbunga. Thank you, Chowbunga.
yeah, thank you, Chow, for being here. Thanks, Sparklar. Thanks, Seapole, Bulldog, Rexy. Sean.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Sevi. And thanks for Warsaken. They donated the boosters and made the game, and glad you found it informative. And there's a lot of people still available to help answer questions for standard. And in my server, if you're not in my server yet, just DM me and I'll send you an invite. I don't know if it's open or not, but just send me a DM and I'll send you an invite, and we have a couple spots in there for questions and updates. I just have to play Magic the Gathering to see how much more fun Forsaken is. Is that so? Interesting. I never played it, so. But my daughter had those cards. So, anyways, awesome. Thank you all for coming, and we are going to raid. My server is the cat's meow. Meow. Oh, now I have Chalbunga's wallet. I have to type it at Mitri Man out. Just make sure I spell it right. Two eyes. I knew it was something. All right, make sure you give Mitri Man some love. And thanks for donating to the Distillate Face reveal. Thank you. And I should be back on tomorrow night for some Blitz. Thanks everyone for being here. Yeah. I think there might be some morning people. Bye. Cool. It's just me